Ladies and gentlemen, we will call the regular business meeting of November 1st, 2023 to order at 6:30 on the nose. The town of Diamond Valley acknowledges the traditional territories of the people of Treaty 7 region in southern Alberta, which includes the Blackfoot Confederacy members Siksika, Kainai, and Kainai First Nations, Stoney Nakoda Bearspaw First Nation, Chiniki and Wesley First Nations, the Dene of Tsuut'ina First Nations, and Métis Region 3, and all of those that make Treaty 7 lands their home. With that being said, we have an agenda to adopt. We did publish a revised edition agenda with 3 letters of acknowledgement for the public hearing for item 5.1. So that is the agenda I would like to adopt. Is there any other further additions, Mr. Sharp?
None today, Mayor Queen.
Excellent. And with that being said, I would like to welcome Mr. Sharp back to the chair. We're very pleased to have you here for the next 4 months. And we're really grateful that you took it on. So let's have some fun.
Sounds good to me.
All right, excellent. Okay, I'll take a motion for the adoption of the agenda. Deputy Mayor Kelly, all in favor? And that's carried. I have minutes 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, 3.4. I will take them in each order. So 3.1, special meeting of October 11th, 2023 goes to Heather. Heather makes a motion. Would you like to speak to?
I'll give you the motion to adopt the October 11th, 2023 special council meeting minutes.
Excellent. Any concerns, questions, clarity? Seeing none, all in favor? 3.2, adoption of minutes of the regular meeting of council held October 18th, 2023. And Councillor Gordon wins that one with the wink of the eyes.
Did that 15 glasses?
Yeah, that's right. It was the little, was it the auctioneer's knot? Any questions, concerns? Good, all in favor? Adoption 3.3, organizational meeting minutes held October 19th. Councillor Hallday, any questions on the org meeting? Pretty straightforward, sir. All in favor? And 3.4, adoption of committee of the whole minutes for October 19th, 2023. That was a good one. Veronica gives me a left eye wink. Any questions? Yeah, that's right. What is your right to on that? All in favor?
Yeah.
All right, that's great. All right, question period. Question period is a section of council meeting minutes where we take 15 minutes to acknowledge any questions from the public or to administration. Any concerns, anything you want. Could be road clearing, could be sidewalks, could be building heights, doesn't matter. You can ask a question, you can email, text, phone, however you like to get the question. You can talk to a counselor, you can send it to admin. And we would then ask, did we receive any questions this week's period?
None this evening.
All right, if you were in attendance and you had a question, we would ask that you fill out the question form, which is high up here in this little folder on the wall. And then we would submit that to administration. They would vet it and see if there was any detailed information that we would need. If there was, we'd take a few minutes to get that. However, seeing as we have none, we will move on from question period and move to statutory hearings. So 5.1 is our public hearing for bylaw 23-27 land use bylaw amendment to amend bylaw 21-1114 land use bylaw of Turner Valley. Now, I'm going to read some very boring sounding information, but this is how we must hold public hearings. It is very structured, and it is very exact, I'll say. So there will be points where you can ask questions for and against, you can submit and so on. So if you just follow along and listen, if your heart says, I want to talk, there's a point in here for you to do that. So here we go. Public hearing for bylaw 2023-27 land use bylaw amendment to amend 21-1114 land use bylaw Turner Valley. I hereby declare the public hearing for bylaw 2023-27 land use bylaw amendment to amend 21-1114 land use bylaw of Turner Valley open at 6:35. This public hearing is held pursuant to section 216.4 of the Municipal Government Act to hear representations from the public on the proposed bylaw 2023-27. I'm Barry Crane, the mayor of Diamond Valley, and I'm the chairperson for today's hearing. Will council please identify themselves, starting with Councillor Gordon, and we will work to our left.
Jonathan Gordon.
Councillor Stephen Holiday.
Councillor Kelly.
Veronica Clover. Councillor Thompson.
And we are missing Councillor Martin tonight. She is on holiday. And there we have it. All discussions by council members, administration, and speakers shall be directed through me as the presiding officer. During the public hearing, we ask that you respect the views of everyone here and allow each person their time to speak without interruption. Each person wishing to speak will be given up to 5 minutes to make a presentation to council. I ask if you indicate if you are speaking on your own behalf, on behalf of another person, or a group of persons, or an organization. When you are finished speaking, please remain at the front, which is right here at this table. And council may wish to ask you a few clarifying questions. This hearing will be carried out in an orderly fashion in accordance with normal parliamentary procedures. Mr. Sharp, can you please confirm whether this public hearing was advertised, and notice given in accordance with requirements of the Municipal Government Act?
Yes, it was, Mayor King.
Excellent, thank you. I will now ask our planner, Ms. Carrie Florzone, Planner and Development Manager, and Judy McKenzie, the Development Officer, to sit up here in the front, please, and present your staff report. Explain the purpose of the proposed land use bylaw amendment. Council, you may ask questions after the report, so please make notes if you wish to, and we will ask those at that time. All right, floor is yours, ladies.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Judy McKenzie, Development Officer with the Town of Diamond Valley. Just want to, through the mayor, of course, want to take this opportunity to thank the residents for responding to the redesignation application for 515 Morrison Street Northwest. All of our residents have the right to be heard during this consultation process. That's why we're here. Potentially affected parties are entitled to speak freely, either to support or object the proposed development. We always welcome that participation because that's how we know that our residents really have a heart for what happens in our community. This application, as you are aware, is for the redesignation of an R1 property at 515 Morrison Street, with potential to have it rezoned to an R3 multifamily. The parcel is located in the northwest corner of the area formerly known as Turner Valley. It is at 5,260 meters square or 1.3 acres in size. 3 buildings are proposed, 2 buildings in the 3 locations with 42 doors. That's the maximum that it would be. Apartment building is currently located to the south of this vacant land. Commercial and residential to the east, and a vacant public service lot to the north. Property is currently vacant and has been vacant for many years. Servicing needs will be determined by the town's engineer, MPE Engineering. There's no environmental constraints on the land, such as pipelines, wells, escarpment areas for water courses that cross the property. Several things would be required at the development permit stage, such as a construction management plan, utility servicing plan, stormwater management plan, and a traffic impact study would need to be done as well. All studies, reports, plans, and servicing are to be done and paid for by the developer. There's a few statutory documents that I had researched during the initial presentation. Our municipal development plan, MDP, section 7.1 states the objectives of the town are to promote and provide the development of safe, attractive, and functional neighborhoods that will meet the household accommodation needs of a full range of socioeconomic groups. 7.2 of that same document states to maintain the general character and stability of established residential areas while allowing for a limited amount of higher density infill residential development and redevelopment in selected appropriate locations. Same document again, 7.2 is to promote development of a community where residents can live and work locally. I think you're familiar with the West Winds Community Habitat for Humanity, the Black Diamond Housing Needs Assessment that was done in December of 2022. There it identifies the incredible need for affordable housing for low and moderate income households in our community, both in the rental and the sale market. There's a need for larger one-bedroom units that is largely due to an aging population that some want to be snowbirds, some are downsizing, some just simply can't afford to live in a R1 housing unit any longer. This type of project would really provide housing for those who work for minimum wage. A lot of local businesses are having an extremely difficult time hiring staff because the staff that they would hire and pay that minimum wage have no place that is affordable to live in town. This type of development isn't done without a lot of moving parts. Before any shovels would hit the ground, there are a lot of studies that are required, a lot of engineering work to be done just to ensure that, you know, we have the right water. There's a stormwater management plan so that the site is containing all of its own water and nothing is infringing on a neighboring property. Traffic studies, yes, it comes off of Main Street onto Morrison. Morrison Street would have to be paved to make it easy access, cut down the dust, the noise. There's many moving parts. So this is just really focusing on redesignating the land if that's what the proposal is and that's what is for your consideration. There's always lots of things that people can look at as negative impacts, and we do want to hear those objections because you know, we want to work through all those issues as well. That's kind of the proposal in a nutshell. If you have other questions, please feel free to ask.
Okay. Thank you. Council, after the presentation, would you like to ask any questions for Larry? I'll go Councillor Thompson and then Gordon.
Yes.
And then Cindy. Okay.
Thank you, Judy. Great presentation. These units would be managed and with the same people, I understand, that did the Main Street Village project in Black Diamond. That project was done along with that company that is developing with Alberta Housing and Urban Affairs to provide affordable housing. So they worked with them to do that. I suspect that they're doing the same here. Those rents are 10% below market value in the Black Diamond units. And I suspect again, that's going to be the case here. So I know I have actually one of my friend's mothers is in one of those units over there. She is almost 90 years old. She could not stay in her home, but she is not, she's quite capable to stay in one of the units. Also, we had a former council member that lived in those units, Councillor Donna Fluter at one time. And so I think that this is a very diverse kind of housing unit. It will help not only those single mothers, those that are working on minimum wage to have a place to live in our community. There's a housing shortage across Alberta, not just across Alberta, across Canada. So I very much support this.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Thompson. Councillor Gordon Holiday, questions, please save the debate for or against until later in the agenda. I'll let you out. No, it's good. That's good.
All right, thank you so much for this report. I do have a question in our agenda. It's page 22 of 101, but it's not page 22 of your report. But if you refer to that, it talks about Alberta Transportation was circulated and a receipt of that circulation notification was received, indicating that a response would be provided in due course.
Yeah.
But we haven't heard back from them.
No.
Do we have a time frame when we may hear back from them as far as the need of a TIA, the traffic impact assessment?
Through the chair, Alberta Transportation and Economic Corridors did provide It's in the amended agenda.
Get that, it's not even in my inbox.
Okay, no worries. And so as part of it, number 4 is a traffic impact assessment shall be prepared by a qualified transportation professional. That would be a requirement at development permit stage.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
There you go. Good
Looking
catch.
forward to being on the agenda.
Councillor Holiday, thank you for that.
Yeah, you mentioned worse, and I'm just wondering, because the drawings of the proposed plan is not in this, because it's just the zoning. But was it, I thought it was like a U shape so that the alleyway is not utilized by this development?
That's
Is that
correct.
Okay, so it is only access on Morrison, no alleyways.
That's correct.
And do we know, like, there's no stormwater in the area right now? At like, where is storm? Like, that whole area doesn't have it.
Can you, the GIS at all? There's many ways to do stormwater management as well, so it doesn't always have to be tied in with the town. It's right in the northwest corner of Anderson.
They could go through the west side, through the lane and onto Anderson.
So there's something in general that's missing.
So they have several options like that you have to handle the stormwater.
And through the chair, again, that would be a
Yeah.
detail at the development permit stage.
Right. Yeah, but we don't want them rushing off on a cruise errand if it's so unbelievably complicated to get something as simple as torment.
And that'd be a requirement, whether it was single detached dwelling through an R1 or a multi-unit through an R3.
Right, so an R1 development would require a stormwater plan and hookups, full hookups to storm as well, so it's similar.
That's for clarity. Okay. Thank you. Deputy Mayor.
Okay, I'm just gonna refer to the Alberta Transportation and Economic Corridors notice, just number 4. Last sentence before the link, if upgrades are required, they're to be completed at no cost to the department. So I assume that's Alberta Transportation. So in the event that upgrades are required on the main road, that would fall under the town. Would that fall under the developer or us?
Through the chair, when there are development upgrades as a result of development, that cost is borne by the developer.
Okay, so in the event the TIA comes back and they say you require a right-hand lane to turn into the new development, that would fall on the developer. Okay, thank you.
Excellent. Council, any further questions? Councillor Holiday, I'll have you mute your mic here. Thank you. All right, ladies, thank you very much. Mr. Sharp, has the town received any written submissions not included in your staff report? And if so, I would ask that they be read aloud and entered into the record. So Bernie, you could read those.
Everything we received was in the council package.
They have those here. We gotta read them all.
Just those,
2 in favor and 4 against.
we don't need to read them out. I don't believe they're included for
Division
circulation.
package.
Yeah.
So, okay. Because we had the late submission. Yeah, I have some. Okay. Okay, so just to clarify, there's 2 letters. 2 letters in support. 2 letters in support and 4 against. All right. Thank you. Speaker's preamble. At this point of the hearing, I will call upon anyone wishing to speak on the proposed bylaw. Please note that each party wishing to speak will have only one opportunity to do so. If you are speaking and have already provided a written submission, please summarize your concerns. Council members may ask presenters questions for the purpose of clarifying the speaker's comments. And council will not debate this matter during the hearing. The decision regarding whether to grant the bylaw further readings will be dealt with later in the agenda or at a subsequent meeting to be deemed, if deemed necessary. So again, I pointed out those sheets over there that you could sign in on. At this time, I would ask administration if anyone has registered, and I've got it right here, or signed in to speak in the bylaw. Working through this list, we will begin. So Trevor Hairsman. Harrisman. All right, you can come up to the middle if you like. And just state your name and whether you're for or against, and then you can begin.
Trevor Harrison, against.
Okay,
I moved out here 6 years ago. And I wanted to have small town living. No one had really notified us, so I don't get paper or nothing. At my house, hasn't been delivered in over a year, so I had no idea about this until I was notified by one of my neighbors last week. This is I'm right on the corner of Morrison and Main Street. So that's all gonna get torn up. Parking's very limited out there, as it is being on the main highway. And with the height of these things being built up, then you're cutting into privacy, you're cutting everything. I came here for quiet. I'm okay with neighbors, but not 100 neighbors. Right beside me. Like that. That's not small town living anymore. I moved away from the big city to get away from that kind of stuff. And it's just, if they had proposed something like this and came around and actually talked to the people on the streets and said, hey, this is what we'd like to develop here before these signs to put in for it. But a different story, but like I said, I moved out here for a quiet, peaceful, I mean, we have enough traffic as it is on the 22. On Main Street, on being the main highway, that's fine, but when you look at night, you're gonna start hearing all the noise from the traffic going through there in our bedrooms and sleepless nights, and I don't wanna deal with it. I came here for peace and quiet, and I enjoy the town, the way it is. But that's just mainly my big beef, is they're gonna be tearing all that Morrison up to repave it and everything else to run their Main Street's got the sewer line on it, so they're gonna have to run to there to run the sewer line. And the only place they're gonna get for storm is on the other street and behind us, so. And to be around that noise for 8 months to a year. And like I said, I'm a pipe fitter and I just don't, I need sleep that I get, cause I gotta commute back and forth all the time, so. All I kind of really have to say.
all right, thank you, sir. Quentin Brown. State your name or against, and the floor is yours. Thank you, Trevor.
Quentin Brown. I'm one of the owners of the property, 961481. So, mayor and councilors, I would like to say we feel this is an important project for the growth of our community. Our other rental unit that we own now is at 202 2nd Street in former Black Diamond called Main Street Village. So we finished that about 12 years ago in 2011. And it still looks very upkept. It's we do hardy siding on the outside of things. We have central garbage with recycling that TNT picks up all the time. We have exterior trees and shrubs in the front and sides. There's a play area for the children, a rain harvest storage area in it. And so in the new facility, we would have all of these similar features. Right now, 28 of the 44 units that we have there are for families that have below normal income. So for one bedroom, to qualify for one bedroom, this year your income has to be below $36,500. To qualify for two bedroom, it has to be below $41,500. And so in this world we live in, that is not a lot of money. And then we have one building there that is 16 units, and it is basically as long as your income is below the median in the area, which is around, I think, about $90,000 you're allowed to live in that building. So it has been, as was mentioned by Councillor Thompson, it has been, it was originally built with conjunction with Alberta Housing. And so right now in that complex, we have 16 seniors or individuals with mobility issues. We have 14 retired couples. We have 4 single mothers and their children, and we have 10 young families or working singles in it. And so we have an email list that when you get apartments available, that it sends out an email. We have 400 people that are signed up to receive those emails when there's a place available. So as you mentioned, this is Donna Fluter, was one of our residents. When she left us with her termination letter. And one of the things that she said is, I want to thank you and your helpers as well for the care and service provided while being a resident here. The harmonious and positive atmosphere you maintain is truly amazing and much appreciated. It has been a pleasure to stay here, and both Brandy and I are so very grateful for allowing her this temporary stay. So many of the residents who stay there feel the same way. They're happy to have a place to stay at a reasonable rent. So one of the questions in the amendments was, and this is sort of to address an area. One of the questions was whether or not we pay taxes. Last year, that complex paid $49,013 in taxes to Diamond Valley. And so in this future development that we have, it's going to be set up a little bit different in that we're hoping on the first phase to do 28 of the 42 units. It's also in conjunction with the Alberta government and part of a grant. 20% of the suites will be barrier free. 10% of the suites are 60% of market value. And each tenant has to provide yearly documents that their income is below a certain threshold. 60% of the units will be at 10% below market value. And then 30% of the units will be at market value. And so it's a very mixed building with mixed people that will be there. So some of the things that, of course, we will work with the town and the engineers on would be paving Morrison Street and getting a sidewalk in there, hooking up to the storm and sanitary systems that are already in place, paving our parking lot, providing play area for the children, keeping as much of the existing trees and shrubs as possible on the property as a barrier to the neighbors, installing a rainwater harvesting system for summer irrigation, and solar panels. We'd like to install solar panels to offset some of the electricity costs. And in conclusion, I'd like to say that we are not big developers. Our family lives around here. My sister lives just down about a couple hundred meters here from here. My parents are 5 kilometers west. My nephews and nieces live here in town. I just live on the other side of Okotoks. So we're around this area where we would like to see it developed and continue to grow. We have the daycare building in Diamond Valley. We sat out to the Girls and Boys Club. And recently I was on the downtown area redevelopment planning group here for the town block. So our family is not interested in selling this project. We are interested in looking after it and managing it and basically to help the community and to make it available. We have some of my own children are in the city and they're paying $2,000 a month for 1-bedroom apartments there. So it's a huge need for our young people. We also have our seniors and older ones who a lot of them have had things not go well in life. They can't afford a condo, they can't afford a house anymore, but they're able to move into these places and stay part of our community. And our young ones are able to stay as part of the community. So we feel that it's a very good project and we have had much success before working with the planners here in Black Diamond in our other projects. And we enjoy working with them and look forward to working with them in the future.
Thank you, sir. Next up, we have. No questions. No questions. No question. Oh. 1 second, maybe we will allow question. Yes, we can ask a question. Go ahead, ask Quentin the question. I sent you away too early, so just use your theater voice.
But Quentin, I know we aren't at this stage yet. We're just rezoning stage, but it sounded to me like you had a concept plan for the building. I just wanted to know how many stories you were planning on.
It's very similar to Main Street Village. It's just 2 stories high.
Thank you. That's my only question.
Thank you, and Councillor Holiday.
Yeah, can you just, so we can visualize it, because we're familiar, most of us, I think, with the Main Street ones, like how large of a lot is that? This is a 1.3 acre. I thought the Main Street one was bigger, but like how many units, like how are they fitting in? Like what's the density gonna feel like, I guess is what I'm trying to ask, as in comparison.
It's a little bit denser. The Main Street Village is, I think it's up closer to the 1.9 acres, you know, and we have townhouses in that area. Not all apartments, but it's very similar. Besides that, it's very similar feel. It's basically, we would like to keep the same buildings with exterior entrances, lots of windows in them, balconies on the back, and something that's very user friendly.
Thank you for your thing. Next we have Maureen Nelson. Read your name for or against, and you did.
Maureen Nelson. Oh, where's the button? Which button to push here?
Just smack them, don't turn around.
Maureen Nelson, resident, here on my own behalf, my own observations, and definitely for this development. I've been in here for a lot more years than I like to remember, and planning and Mr. Brown have mentioned some of the things I was going to, so if I duplicate, forgive. Our new amalgamated town is going through a lot of changes right now, and will continue to. We need to develop and evolve, and it's been made abundantly clear how we lack affordable housing, and it's not just here. Okay, I hope some of my comments might help to ease the concerns of others that have written in their letters, and I have studied it. I know there are few affordable homes. We've been looking for some time ourselves, and it's just, you can't do it. We have to either downsize and leave or downsize and pray a lot, and it's no fun. The bigger issue is there are almost no rentals. Seniors are being forced to leave. Young people can't afford to buy and might need affordable rental housing in the interim while they save up and plan for the future. Our council needs to take a deep look at housing needs. We have pockets of land that need to be developed contiguously with services available. Developers must pay according to bylaws, and this has been touched on. Bylaws and strategic planning documents support high density in different forms. It's desirable, and in some areas must include affordable rental income, and that's in the municipal development plan. I don't think I'm repeating what Judy said. Page 21 on tonight's agenda, if anybody wants to look at it, MDP 7.1, the provision of housing for all income groups, the creation of attractive housing development, and the orderly development of residential land. That's been around for a long time, and I hope we stick to it. 7.2 MDP, objectives of the town are, and this goes back to 1980, I think it is, to promote and provide the development of safe, attractive and functional neighborhoods that will meet the household accommodation needs for a full range of social economic groups. I encourage everybody to read, and Mr. Brown went into the housing needs was mentioned. Agenda page 22, West Winds Communities Habitat for Humanity Black Diamond Housing Needs Assessment was December 1st. That was Judy. This study was conducted in partnership with Black Diamond, High River, West Winds, and so on. Through my own due diligence, I found information that is readily available to all. Some facts. The applicant, and I did not know Mr. Brown, I don't think I've seen him until tonight, is a numbered Alberta company with a history in the town of Black Diamond, where they built Main Street Village, an affordable rental complex several years ago. There's much information online. If you want to know anything about it, there's pictures, there's a lot of information. It is well managed, very well managed. And if this new development is indeed being brought forward by the same company, it will be a welcome and positive residential addition. I ask that planning confirm, and I guess they can't at this point, the parking lot in Morrison will be paved by the developer. Among other concerns and comments, road access will be determined by a TA traffic impact assessment. Any infrastructure will have to follow all the bylaws. This isn't haphazard. This is a major development that is being very well researched and developed. I'm sure that planning and council will address any questions or concerns in a timely manner and communicate to us all. I encourage council to support this redesignation application.
Thank you, Marie. Any questions for Marie? Okay, thank you. And lastly, Mr. Devin Green. Shouldn't say lastly. If anyone does want to speak to it, you're more than welcome to after Devin. Just gotta add your name.
Plot plan put up there, what was it, 5 Mark Cottage?
Verna?
The which, I'm sorry?
We have the plot plan, the area view.
That's good.
I think that's the right one here. The original.
That came in the mail
Oh,
package.
back in September.
Well, that we mailed out to you.
Yes, that would have been in our first hearing.
Yeah.
So if you want to go back to the last.
I'll give you that back. If I'm mistaken.
My apologies, our first meeting.
Yeah, I'll do a little technical work to get there. Oh, I'm just happy she's on the computer, because if you ask me to find it, you're waiting a long time. Yes, because he's down here.
I don't know, that would be the one.
All right, Mr. Devin.
Devin Green, again,
There you go.
thank you.
Thank you.
I'll start with the notices that we got. So part 7 of the amendments in the town bylaws. 7.3.2 says 2 consecutive weeks of newspaper dispatched by ordinary or registered mail. Section C would be to each owner of adjacent land. I know that. We never. And the package that we're referring to was filed on August 22nd of 2023. And it says in that the respondent had to be prior to September 22nd, 2023. We never received our notice until October 28th, and October 25th was the last day. Sorry, that we could write a letter to this, to the council or to whoever it was going to the gals back there. So all of our information came after the fact on this. We're not following our own bylaws on that one, in my opinion. I'd like to know if an environmental impact study was done on this land and to what level, if it was a 1, 2, or 3 to this. If we're referring to this now on back in the bylaws, part 8, 8.14.2 parking requirements, number 2, Apartment housing multifamily, 2 parking spaces per unit, 1 space per 4 units for visitor parking. That plan shows 60 stalls in there, where in theory, there should be 84 stalls for the units, plus 10.5 for the visitors, so they are 35 stalls short. Where are these 35 people gonna park? Plus, back in the bylaws, 8.16.2, 1 loading unloading zone, which there is not a loading unloading zone in there. Part 10 in the bylaws, 10.2.4.4 B2 calls for the rear offsets to be 7.5 meters. And there calls for a 6.5 meter offset. B.2 also calls for a 1.5 adjacent to other lots. Theirs is a 1.2. Part 10H. Parking shall not be located in the front yard of a site. So they lose 10 stalls out of their existing 64 because they're in front of the building. So now we're short 45 stalls. Part 10, 10.2.4.6.3, vehicle pedestrian facilities, B. Dead end roads or cul-de-sacs shall have a turning circle at the end with a radius of at least 10.5 meters. And that just has the road going into that, and that is a dead end at that stage because it becomes private property. So there would need to be a cul-de-sac put in there as per the town's bylaws. Will Morrison Street be developed under City of Calgary specs, including adequate wheelchair ramps, crosswalks, sidewalks, lighting? And at whose cost do that? Would the lane be developed to promote drainage and accept the added traffic that is definitely to be going down there, as is it's drawn there? There is nowhere for traffic to go once it gets to the end of the dead end road. With the apartment on Edward already existing in the neighboring lot to it being 0.33 acres owned in an R3, there's already a lack of parking and extreme congestion with the added traffic of the school on Anderson as it is. 609 Anderson, Wichita, sold two years ago, I believe, charter. At 0.91 acre lot was advertised as a 0.91 acre lot that lends itself to a multifamily suite. How much high density housing is needed or sustainable in one small area? We're already gonna have 3 at this stage if we're gonna go that way. We did take the time to pull the residents directly affected by this. I believe you guys all have a copy of that in your packages. Of the 14 directly, the 14 that directly touched it, we were able to talk to 11. Of those 11, 9 were strictly opposed to rezoning. That's 81%. In the surrounding communities, Main Street, Dunham, Anderson, Crest, Archibald, Anderson, Close, of the 57 residents in the area, we were able to talk to 48, which is 84% were opposed. 5 residents support change, that's 8.7. 4 residents had no opinion, that's 7%. In my opinion, as a councillor voted in by the public, I think your main responsibility is to the existing ratepayer stakeholder. 84% should be a clear representation of what the people in that area do think of this plan. Thank you.
Well done. Council, questions for Mr. Green? Mr. Gordon.
Yeah, I appreciate everyone who's spoken so far. Thank you for your time. Much appreciated. Question I have for you, Devin, and I may have missed it in your introduction. What documents were you referring to when you were talking about 10.1, 6.1, and what were you referring to? What document is that?
Town bylaws.
Which one specifically though? Because I don't see those numbers aren't, the reason I ask, those numbers aren't equating with our new land use bylaw, so I'm wondering where you're pulling those numbers from.
it was the Town of Diamond Valley bylaws is what I typed in and what came up, so I had a whole list of them. They would be the copies of,
Because I'd love to cross-reference those, and that's what I was trying to do, because I have the land use file in front of me, and they're not aligned, so I'm wondering which bylaw you're referring to specifically.
Let's go to planning just for a question. Obviously, he's got a lot of numbers there for us. Did you take a little track on any of those while we're
So this-
through?
If I make through the,
Yes, please.
this is actually Black Diamonds.
but they
Land
show,
use
up-
file?
they show up under Diamond Valley, so I mean, either you guys have to update your stuff on the website or leave us with our demise to run through.
Okay, Carrie can answer this for you, because there is a process here.
So through the chair, we were furiously trying to also figure out what Mr. Green was referring to so that we could provide response. This does fall under the Turner Valley Land Use Bylaw 21-1114, which is in our planning documents library on diamondvalley.town. So I'm also, if you could provide reference to which bylaw you were looking at, it's on our
So
website.
do I have to go through and find when you two amalgamate, when the two towns amalgamated and
I can provide clarity for you. So we have Turner Valleys, and we have Black Diamonds. And under the municipal
So I just go
agreement,
through
we can
my-
still use Turner Valleys for Turner Valley only and Black Diamond for Black Diamond only. So you were looking at Black Diamonds.
well, I was looking under Diamond Valley.
Exactly.
So I was gonna go
So
through,
we
we
get-
had the same
We
bylaws
get
for
that
so many
mixed,
years.
but they're not together yet. So you're looking at specifically Black Diamonds, but you should be looking at Turner Valleys, which would be another branch in the Diamond Valley one. Carrie's gonna answer something here.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I also tried to cross-reference the numbers that Mr. Green was saying to the Black Diamond bylaw, making the assumption that the wrong one was pulled. Those also don't correlate with the numbers in the Black Diamond bylaw.
They have Black Diamonds. I have a copy of them, so I mean, it's something that's got your guys' font on them. It's got your stamp.
Okay.
They have to mean something. How can we be Diamond Valley today? How can we be Diamond Valley one day, Turner Valley the next day? But
Yeah. It's a legislative thing where we're Diamond Valley.
Yeah.
And until this council, so that's the job of the amalgamated council, to seam both of those bylaws. We can't just tear one out and throw it at the door. You actually have to go through both and say, this works together and this works together. These two conflict. For example, exactly what we're looking at now, the land use parking requirements, one community versus the other are both different. So in order to get those seen together, then we have to take that umbrella off and say, well, now, if there's a parking in lieu, so for example, you're talking about 35 stalls missing. Well, it also has the ability that we can ask the developer for cash in lieu of parking. So council can say, we'll take $60,000 because you can't put 30 stalls in.
where do you?
For example. Well, I'm just
Take
telling
money,
you,
no
it's an
responsibility.
ability that councils have. So when we take the two bylaws, we have to seam them. That takes a lot of time because each individual aspect has to be looked at, vetted, approved. Or if it doesn't approve in the line, then it needs to be remedied. One has to be chosen and then that has to go through all the documentation and so. So
Well-
it's a bit of a game of, time, but what you have there, we'd love you to get that to Carrie so that she can find out where that came from. Number one,
I will find them on Turner Valleys too, because I know we have
yeah, and that'd be
about
great.
the same bylaws over the years.
That'd be great, because you raise a lot of very exact points and like Councilor Gordon said, he was trying to. Because that's exactly what we want to do. We want to see exactly, okay, are these conflicting? And a lot of those things roll over into development, but I'm not here to debate right now.
No, but
Um,
my thing is once
Councilor's got a
with all these problems, if we just go and zone out 3 and then all of a sudden they can't match all that, it's already zoned all R3 to a plan that's doesn't work.
I got you. Heather,
I got you too. So just for clarity, the minister, when we amalgamated, allowed us to keep the individual land use bylaws until such time as we can bring them together. So the land use bylaw stands for Turner Valley and the land use bylaw stands for Black Diamond currently. Until, of course, like Mayor Crane said, we can melt them together. And a lot of your questions will be answered at the development permit stage. And our planners have listened to your questions, and if you can give them that information, that will be really great, Devin.
Councillor Holiday.
Yeah, I would like clarification on the advertising and notification to adjacent landowners, because that I know has been confusing. For me, let alone residents, so.
Judy, I believe you were there
For the
when we
mayor?
remedied that. Yeah, please.
So on the website, we do have an advertising bylaw as well, which is different from what you were reading off of the website, Mr. Green. So the website, it was advertised on October 13th. The Western Wheel, it was advertised October 11th. And adjacent residents, so that is anyone who is physically touching the parcel, received the notification on the 25th. We did do the research after the September 4th council meeting to see, and it said May in the MGA, I think that's what we have recalled.
Advertising, public advertising bylaw through the chair, 2023-12 for Diamond Valley. Any notice required to be advertised under section 606 of the Act for a bylaw, public hearing or other thing must be published for 1 week in the town newspaper. We may choose to do other advertising. There was a motion in council to circulate the adjacent neighbors. There was some internal confusion. Those were mailed last Wednesday. We are acknowledging the timing on that. And that council may choose to do with that information what they will. But it was advertised in accordance with our public notification bylaw on the website and in the newspaper for 1 week.
Yeah, thank you.
We got our package on the 28th. We checked religiously daily, which was already past the October 25th date that we could do anything. So it's 4 days after that.
Well, that's just exactly why you're here. Because this is what the opportunity to say something and do something
But
is.
this is, so puts a written letter in, we were late on our notice.
And that's, okay. We'll still accept them. But totally acknowledge that, as Carrie said, they had their bad, as we'll call it, in planning. But Councilor Merton did make that motion. It was passed and carried, and there was about a 2-week delay.
A week.
Us getting it out there, so a week. But we'll take ownership of that, and thank you for coming tonight. Any other questions for Mr. Green? Councilor Hall.
With the surveying and talking, is there, I'm assuming there's no chance that nobody was missed. Everybody in the neighborhood knows about this.
No, that there
Or
was,
tonight.
it says right in there how many were missed. Of the there was 57 residents in that area, and we were able to talk to 48.
But adjacents.
Adjacent,
Adjacents really do
we
know.
didn't, we couldn't get the apartment owner, and we couldn't get the other area that's already zoned R3.
Okay.
But of that, yes, everybody else was.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, is there anyone else wishing to speak?
Mayor Crane, just one, if I may.
Yes, sir.
No, just Mr. Green, just want to reiterate that the planning department's happy to sit down with him and not only take some of his numbers, but it show him the differences in the files.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. I would say let's go and photocopy it, but we can't even photocopy over here anymore. Take a quick, yes, take a picture. There you go. All right, let me continue on here. Yes, that's what I'm still going. There's no one else listed on our sheet, but if you have a burning desire to speak for or against, by all means, Mr. Roundtree. I'm just gonna add your name here, Gary.
Gary Roundtree, a resident, although I'm not directly next to this development. I did hear one comment from the first person that spoke to this, who was opposed about the construction time and the construction noise. I'd like to inform this council, we've had development around us since 1997, and it's not completed yet. So the impact on any adjacent residents for this is quite a lot. Now, as far as the bylaws go, I listened to Mr. Green. He took his information off the town website based on the bylaws that were on the town website. And to debate which one should be used, I think is not the way to go. We, as the residents of this community, have been paying taxes here an awful long time. The Green family have been in this community for over 40 years, as I have. And we are the investors as taxpayers in this community. And our concerns and issues with development, not that we're against it, it's the fact that it's been mismanaged for an awful lot of years in this community. It has cost us taxpayers through tax dollars, whether it be grants or directly, to subsidize these developers over the years, over $2 million. I want council, because most of you, except for Heather, are fairly new to these communities. So just for Turner Valley, it has cost us in excess of $2 million to subsidize these developers for various reasons. So although we're overall, I don't think we as existing ratepayers are opposed to these type of developments. Sometimes council has to look at the fact that, is this the right land for this development? We know that in Everwood, there is a section of land there that is already zoned R3. And we know that West Winds has put some development in there. And one thing I'd like to remind this council of as well, I was on council from 07 to 10. At that point in time, we looked at a piece of land adjacent to this one for West Winds for affordable housing. It's the one that is listed as PS land right now. When that land, when our development, the one that I'm in, was built back in the late 80s, early 90s, that piece of land the council has just sold was our 10% of green space. So you've taken it, not you, previous councils have taken it upon themselves to sell that land. And when we looked at it as a council in 07 to 10 for West Winds, it was declined because emergency services, because of the location, could not effectively service that section of land if an emergency occurred. So I would like you all to take that into account. But when Mr. Green referred to certain bylaws when it came to development, and if it's not clear on the website, shame on administration. Thank you very much. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Roundtree. Any questions for Gary? You're good. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else who would like to speak for or against bylaw 2023-27? Yeah. Here we go, Mr. Martin.
I'm Jason Martin, opposed to the Morrison 515. Guess my concerns are that taxpayers aren't going to be paying for road upgrades, because Morrison Street, it's actually backwards. It runs east-west. It should be an avenue. So like, I don't know what this other road is, if it's Morrison Ave. That's going to see traffic, and it's basically with 42 units, it's gonna be like a whole new neighborhood. So you're gonna get traffic from Dunham and Edward following through there. And I guess another question is existing infrastructure large enough for basically a whole new community? I'm not sure what's in there right now. I can just speculate. It's probably just designed for that street. And is that going to be covered by the developer, or is that going to have to be a upgrade project that the town's gonna have to undertake to accommodate this. And I guess another question is like service vehicles, like garbage trucks and fire trucks, are they gonna be able to access that? Is there enough turnaround points for that? I know where I live, the cul-de-sac is built to Calgary minimum standards, but it's not large enough to turn a garbage truck around in. And also another point is that there's 6 R3 zones in Kern Valley itself. I don't know how many are in Black Diamond. And these people, they've built their homes or bought their homes under the assumption that they're gonna, you know, be in an R1 neighborhood and not backed on. So I don't know why these people, I don't know if there's a financial reason that they purchased it because it was a cheaper price. But when you got 6 available lots in Turner Valley, where are we adding more? You win those communities, they know they're, you know, built next to an R3 lot. Well, that's all I gotta say.
Okay, thank you, sir. Any questions for Mr. Martin? Seeing none, I will ask again. Is there anyone? Ms. Jackie? Come on up.
I have one question. You're talking about rezoning and then dropping the development into it. Why are you rezoning? You still have work to do with designing Diamond Valley, pulling the towns together, figuring out a design plan, all those kind of things. It seems odd. And then the gentleman's all saying there's already R3 zoned. Why is there this fire to do this? I just don't get it. That's my question.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Jackie? And we won't be debating anything right now, so thank you for that. You didn't say for or against.
I'm against the rezoning.
Okay, thank you.
Jacqueline Cassidy.
Gotcha. All right, I will ask one more time. Is there anyone else who has a burning desire to speak for or against?
I actually have a question. Will there be impact studies or?
Come on up, state your name for or against, and then
Sorry.
you can ask a question.
Shay Ford. I have hesitations. I must reiterate, as Gary has said, the cost of the town in the past is to foul ups with any kind of forward movement. My concern is infrastructure. Again, it comes back to water, sewage. How are we going to be able to keep costs down and make it affordable living? My other concerns on this would be what studies are going to be done as far as impacts on school and traffic by schools, because now it becomes a safety issue. There's enough traffic going on in front of that school at all times of the day that it's actually outrageous. We've had to have a stop sign put up in our crescent because people are going too fast in the crescent. Parking, if you consider 42 units with 1 parking spot each, how are you going to provide for 42 parking places? And if people have 2 cars, because it's a two family setup, how are you going to double that ratio? So this is where I think that the town really needs to spend some time doing impact studies as to where we're going to go with this. I'm neither for or against until I actually see some kind of planning and some kind of studies done on this area. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Shay? All right, thanks, Shay. All right, council members. We're going to move on. At this time, I would ask administration if anyone else is registered or signed in to speak to the bylaw. Well, we've gone through that. We've worked through our list. At this time, I would ask if anyone else present who has not yet spoken. See what I mean? This has a system who has not yet spoken and has a burning desire would like to speak to the bylaw. Please come forward, state your name for the record. One last time. I will now ask administration to verify that there are no further written submissions that have been received?
On me.
Thank you, sir. And have all speakers been heard by your account?
Yes.
Thank you. Does any person who has previously spoken wish to address any new information provided at this hearing? Council may ask questions following any speaker. So if there's anything that anyone else said, for example, Devin had some great information, you want to follow back up on that and have another go at the mic, you can. If not, we're good. Does the applicant have any closing remarks he would like to say? And we will ask questions if there are any concerns brought forward. Yeah, go ahead.
Just to address the parking issue at our current.
Let's come on up.
Okay.
Yeah, just make it easy. Go ahead.
So just to address the parking a little bit, at our current facility, we have, I think it is just 2 or 2.25 spots per unit. Over half of them to 60% of them sit empty. Because the majority of these households are limited and they have 1 vehicle. And probably 1 in 10 households has vehicles. And so it's just a difference in demographics. If you go to different areas such as earlier, even actually during the study that we did for the town of Black Diamond, one of the suggestions that they had is that the parking requirement be reduced. It was the same in the town of Okotoks now. There is no parking requirement for people to build buildings. And so I thoroughly agree that the site has to have enough parking, but it has to be, it can't be in excess. So this, when we see even the setbacks and everything, I never checked them with the bylaw officers here. Our designer put it all together. So I can't say whether it meets all of the directs, but if we have to bring the site in and there's other things, we'll work with the town to make that happen.
Okay, thank you. Does administration have any closing remarks or responses to any questions that were posed or any concerns that were brought forward during the hearing? And I'm specifically looking at Carrie and Judy. So Carrie, if there's anything that you'd like to say, by all means.
Do you want me to come up?
Yes, please. And just hit the red button. Thank you.
Through the mayor, if I may, there was a question or comment of height and density. The maximum height in the R1 district, which the property is currently zoned, maximum height is 10 meters or just shy of 33 feet. It is the same in the R3 district. So regardless of if the proposed development goes through or not, it is the same maximum height. The Black Diamond development by the same developer is 53 units on 2.03 acres, which is about 26.11. The proposed is 42 on 1.3, which is 32.3. So that's the increase in the density there. The bylaw numbers that Mr. Green was referring to.
Can you repeat the last one?
Yeah. 53 on 2.03 acres is the Black Diamond development, and a proposed 42 on 1.3 acres for this particular proposed development. The bylaw numbers that Mr. Green was referring to were from Black Diamond Land Use Bylaw number 9814, which was rescinded on June 18th, 2021. If you go into our documents library on our website, you can find it since it was a historic document for the town. And there was a question on timing that I might be able to provide some input on as well. the timing of private development in the town is something that we do direct through documents such as municipal development plan and area structure plans. However, when there's small kind of one-off lots like this that are held by private landowners, if they want to develop their site, just as if anyone wants to develop their site, build a detached garage or a shed, they come to us and ask for approval, which is what the landowner is doing at this time.
All right, thank you. Any questions for Ms. Carey? John.
Yeah, thank you so much for doing some homework there real quick. Question I have, just to make sure we put this in its proper context. Because the plan has been brought forward that we heard in our first reading, that's just a concept plan. It's not necessarily according to the permit and the bylaw restrictions that are found there in a development plan, correct?
Through the chair, if I'm understanding your question correctly, Councillor Gordon, there is nothing if you should proceed with rezoning to R3 that would hold either the landowner, the developer, or the town to proceed with that exact development. Often a developer or landowner has an idea of what they want to do. They come to us and ask, how can I make this happen? So that plan was presented for your information, that is the proposal. And it sounds like that's what we're going to work towards. Of course, there's a lot more to be fleshed out at the development permit stage. This is just the first step to kind of knock the process off.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. You're good. Thank you. And I'll reiterate, Councillor Gordon, thanks for doing some quick homework there for us. That's quite refreshing to have that. All right. Is council satisfied that they have obtained sufficient information from this public hearing? Excellent. Okay. I would like to thank all those who spoke or provided submissions for their comments. Council will now take your comments into consideration when deciding on this matter. With that said, I declare the public hearing for bylaw 2023-27 closed at 7:42. And we will be discussing this bylaw further in the agenda under 10.1. 7.3? Yeah, 7.3. All right. Moving on to 5.2, public hearing for bylaw 2023-29, land use bylaw amendment to bylaw 21-1114, land use bylaw Turner Valley. Now I'm going to repeat all the exact same things again, except this time I highly doubt there's going to be a lot of debate. So I hereby declare the public hearing for bylaw 2023-29 land use bylaw amendment to amend 21-1114 land use bylaw Turner Valley open at 7:43. This public hearing is held pursuant to section 216.4 of the Municipal Government Act. Here's some representation from the public on proposed bylaw 2023-29. My book, it says 27.
29.
Okay, I got a good catch there. I'm Mayor Barry Crane and I am the chairperson for today's hearing. Will council please introduce themselves, starting from Councillor Gordon and moving on.
Councillor Jonathan Gordon.
Councillor Kelly.
Will administration please introduce themselves, starting with Mr. Sharp.
CAO Sharp.
Legislative Services Manager Verna Staples.
Development Officer Judy McKenzie.
Planning and Development Manager Carrie Florzon.
Tax and utility clerk, Lisa Zero.
Thank you. I think I missed that for background. All discussions by council members, administration, and speaker shall be directed through me as presiding officer. During the public hearing, we ask that you respect the views of everyone here and allow each person their time to speak without interruption. Each person wishing to speak will be given up to 5 minutes to make a presentation to council. I ask that you indicate if you are speaking on behalf of another person or a group of persons or an organization. When you are finished speaking, please remain at the front and council may wish to ask you questions of clarity. This hearing will be carried out in an orderly fashion in accordance with normal parliamentary procedures. Mr. Sheriff, can you please confirm to me and council that this public hearing was advertised appropriately and notice given in accordance with the requirements of the Municipal Government Act?
Yes, it was.
Thank you. Looks like Carrie's back up. All right, here we go. Ms. Carrie Florzen, Planning and Development Manager, and Ms. Judy McKenzie, Development Officer. Can you please present your staff report and explain the purpose of the land use bylaw amendment? You can stay there, I'm assuming. Carrie's got it.
Yeah.
All right, Carrie, the floor is yours.
Good evening again, council. Bylaw 2023-29
You got it.
is to amend land use bylaw 211114, which is the Turner Valley bylaw. The bylaw contemplates adding a subsection for not requiring a development permit for a type of development. That type of development would be the use, construction, installation, renovation, maintenance, and repair of roads, highways, public utilities, public facilities, public works, or public or quasi-public installations and facilities carried out by or on behalf of the town, a regional services commission, board, committee, or authority formed by agreement between participating municipalities in which the town is participating municipality, or a municipality controlled corporation controlled by the town or group of municipalities, including the town. This amendment is brought forward by the West End Sewage Lagoon. The change to the bylaw, which would not require a development permit, doesn't alleviate a development from still meeting the requirements of the land use bylaw.
So, thank you. Any questions for Carrie? Excellent, thank you. Mr. Sheriff, has the town received any written submissions not included in our staff report? If so, I would ask that you read those aloud and enter them into the record.
None this evening, Mayor Crane.
Excellent, thank you. At this point of the hearing, I will call upon anyone wishing to speak on the proposed bylaw. Please note that each party wishing to speak will have one opportunity to do so. If you are speaking and have already provided a written submission, please summarize your concerns. Council members may ask the presenters questions for the purposes of clarifying points. Council may not debate this matter during the hearing. Decisions regarding whether to grant the bylaw further readings will be dealt with later in the agenda or at a subsequent meeting to be deemed necessary. At this point, I would ask administration if anyone has registered to sign in to speak on the proposed bylaw. I see none. And do we have a list that I presented up top with any lists on it?
It's blank.
It is blank, so no one is summarized that. At this time, I would ask if there is anyone present who has not spoken, would like to speak to the bylaw. Please step forward, state your name, whether you're for or against, and state your concerns. I see none. I will say it again. At this time, I will ask, is there anyone present who would like to speak for or against this proposed bylaw change? Being none. Does any person who has previously spoken wish to address any new information that was provided? Well, obviously none. And we, as the applicant, we have nothing to say. Does administration have anything to say?
None this evening.
Well, this might be the fastest little discussion ever. Is council satisfied that everyone has talked enough? Excellent. I would like to thank all those who spoke or provided submissions for their concerns. Council will take your comments into consideration when deciding on this matter. With that said, I declare the public hearing for bylaw 2023-29 closed at 7:49. Just so everyone knows, this is just a little house cleaning for our land use. Yeah, red tape production, perfect example. House cleaning, there you go. Housekeeping. Oh, which one? Next one. We have another public hearing, 5.3. I hereby declare the public hearing for bylaw 2023-30. Land use bylaw amendment to amend 2021-06. The land use bylaw for Black Diamond. Open at 7:50. This public hearing is held pursuant to section 216.4 of the Municipal Government Act to hear representations from the public on proposed bylaw 2023-27. I am Mary Barrett Crane. And I am the chairperson for today's hearing. Will council please introduce themselves, starting with Councillor Gordon.
Councillor Gordon.
Councillor Kelly?
Councillor Flaherty. Councillor Thompson.
Will administration please introduce themselves, starting with Mr. Sharp, CAO.
Thank you.
Here you go.
I'm not gonna carry on.
I was thinking of it.
Legislative Services Manager Verna Staples. Development Officer Judy McKenzie.
Planning and Development Manager Carrie Florzone.
Tax and Utility Clerk Lisa Zier.
Thank you. All discussion by council members, administration, and speaker shall be directed through me as presiding officer. During the public hearing, we ask that you respect the views of everyone here and allow each person their time to speak without interruption. Each person wishing to speak will be given up 5 minutes to make a presentation to council. I ask that you indicate if you are speaking on your behalf, on behalf of another person or a group of persons or an organization. When you are finished speaking, please remain at the front, and council may have some questions of you for clarity. This hearing will be carried out in an orderly fashion with normal parliamentary procedures. Mr. Sharp, can you please confirm to me and this council that this public hearing has been advertised and notice given in accordance with requirements of the Municipal Government Act?
It has.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Carrie Florzone, come on down, Planning and Development Officer. Manager and Denise Stewart, Development Officer. Can you please present your report and explain the purpose of the land use bylaw amendment? Denise is not here. That is fine. Carrie is the captain.
Very similar to bylaw 2023-29, bylaw 2023-30 in front of you is to amend bylaw 2021-06, which is the land use bylaw for Black Diamond this time. Similar substance. The bylaw amendment before you is a textual amendment to eliminate the need for a development permit for various constructions on behalf of the town or agents of the town.
Essentially identical to the Turner Valley version, just different numbers.
The wording is identical, hence I will not labor you with repeating it.
Thank you. Excellent. Council, any questions for Ms. Florzone? Seeing none, thank you very much. Mr. Sharp, has the town received any written submissions not included in your staff report? If so, I would have them read aloud right now and entered into the record.
None further.
Thank you. At this point of the hearing, I will call upon anyone wishing to speak on the proposed bylaw. Please note that each party wishing to speak will have only one opportunity to do so. If you are speaking and have already added a written submission, please summarize your concerns. Council members may ask presenters questions, so please remain where you are. Council will not debate this matter during the hearing. The decision regarding whether to grant this bylaw further readings will be dealt with further in the agenda or at a subsequent meeting being necessary. At this time, I would ask administration if anyone has registered. No one. At this time, I would ask if there's anyone present who would like to speak to it. Going once. Going twice. So, does anyone who has previously spoken, being none, we don't need to. Does the applicant, being us, we don't, we're good. Does administration have any closing remarks? Please fill our ears.
None at this time, Mayor.
None. Well, again. So satisfying to get through these in a quick manner. Is council satisfied they obtained sufficient information from this public hearing?
Yes.
Again, I will note that this is exactly as Deputy Mayor mentioned, this is red tape reduction for the town of Diamond Valley by aligning these two bylaws into one identical. Okay, I would like to thank all those who spoke or provided submissions for their comments. Council will take this into consideration when deciding on this matter. With that said, I declare the public hearing for bylaw 2023-30 closed at 7:54. Right. Now we flip back. And now we are on to delegations. We have none. Land use bylaw 2021-06, amending bylaw 2023-32, RB's first reading today. All right, who wants to have a go at this one? You're gonna be our favorite here. You know that? You are supposed to be our favorite.
You're the mayor. I have one guys, so I need to make it. Bylaw 2106, amending bylaw 2023-32. The purpose of the bylaw is to remove references to RV parking and storage from land use bylaw 2021-06, which is the Black Diamond land use bylaw. To align with property responsibility bylaw 2023-21. So during the council meeting on October 4th, the property responsibility bylaw was put in front of you. You agreed on it. It included regulations on recreational units on private property on the Black Diamond side of Diamond Valley. We now have two concurrently running regulations that we would like to deal with in accordance with the MGA.
Excellent. Council. I'll take a motion for Deputy Mayor.
The council give first reading of bylaw 2023-32 and direct administration to set a public hearing for a later date.
Excellent. Council, any questions, concerns? We have Ms. Lorzone here, present, ready to answer.
It's just update.
Seeing none, going once. Council Gordon.
Only because we've done so many LUV amendments this afternoon or this evening, just for sake of clarity for the community. According to the MGA, when it's a land use bylaw amendment, we have to go through this public hearing. We have to go through all these different steps. It's a bit onerous, but that's part of the reason that we're working through this. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up on that. Thanks.
Thank you. Seeing no comments, no questions, no concerns, all in favor? That is carried. It's just why you stay right there. Really. Like really, just anchor down. All right, 7.2. Land use bylaw amendments again. This is what we just had our open house on, so I'll take a motion. Go for it. Give us a little intro. Oh, looks like we got a motion. Yeah, let's take that motion.
Council give second reading to bylaw 2023-2. Am I on?
3-0.
I think we're 2-7.
I'm just reading. What's the
7.2 doesn't have what bylaws?
Through the chair, 7.2 is for bylaws 2329 and 2330. They are the same text. One is the amendment to Turner Valley, one's the amendment to Black Diamond.
Okay, so we've got our up here.
Yeah, 4 motions there.
And I read the first one.
Okay, so you're gonna go, council give second reading to bylaw 2023-29.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. Council,
Yes.
debate, or are we going?
Go.
We're good? All in favor? I do.
The council give second reading to bylaw 2023-30.
That would be the Black Diamond one. Any questions, concerns? Good. And tape production, all in favor? I do.
The council give third reading to bylaw 2023-29.
Last time. Any? Nothing? All in favor?
Do you want another motion?
Indeed, I do.
The council give third reading to bylaw 2023-30.
You know, I think you just wanted to be in print.
I just want these short motions.
I love it.
Yeah, excellent. Last time, any concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? Excellent, thank you. All right. 7.3, land use bylaw 21-1114, amending bylaw 2023-27. All right. Is that the right one?
Sorry, I just need 1 second to get it up on the screen.
Yeah, I saw 34 in here. I'm just. That's 7.4 is 2023, 34, 2027. It's a public hearing we just had. We're gonna get it up on the whiteboard here just to make sure we're in the right spot, because then we've got 33, which is designated officer. Okay, that's fine. Right there.
Attached to that one.
Yeah.
23 dash-
Council, can I help?
Yes.
What is the question?
We're on 7.3. but land use bylaw 21-114 amending bylaw 2023-27.
Okay, so this is for second reading for the amending, for the redesignation that we heard about tonight.
Yes.
So this is land use bylaw 21-114 amending bylaw 23-27. The redesignation.
Yeah. It's just not in here. That's why everyone's looking.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, our apologies.
It all got put in the public hearing section.
Okay, excellent. Okay. Yeah. So council, this is obviously 2023. We've heard from the public on it this evening. And I'm assuming there is no written options. Second reading.
If council is prepared, you have the options to give it second and third reading.
Yeah, I got the same one. It was in the.
It's in the public hearing package.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. You want to take this? There you go.
We're right there. Yeah. Okay. Okay, we have options. We have option one, the council agreed to give land use bylaw amendment bylaw 2023-27 second reading. Or third reading, and or council can set direction as deems appropriate. How would council like to proceed?
Well, we need to get a motion on the floor, so I'll give us option one and then I'll speak to the motion. Option one, the council agree to give land use bylaw amendment bylaw 2023-27 its second reading.
Thank you, sir. Is there any amendments?
We can, if we want.
Floor is yours.
Right. So first and foremost, I want to thank everyone for coming tonight. Thank you so much for the input that you've given, both those who are for and those who are against. Hearing from you really presents the value of our democracy. Being an elected official, it's great to have you face to face, and so that we can hear from you exactly what your concerns are and the challenges that we face as a community. Doing my research, going back to when I first was elected in 2017, the last 5+ years, there's always been that concern in the community, and I've heard door to door, and I do door to door when I'm out campaigning, is the need to have a diverse housing, for us to have options for our youth that are growing up. In reality, in Canada, right now, 79% of our youth are looking at the fact that they will never have a chance to purchase their own property. So if that's the case, how are we going to support them? How are we going to support our young people? How are we going to support those that we would love to stay in our community when there's not a diverse housing option for them? There's been comments made tonight about, well, there's other R3s in the town. There may be those zoning in our land use bylaw map that show that right before section 6 of the Turner Valley Land Use Bylaw. However, those are under private ownership. This is a great opportunity in that land use bylaw, in that map on section 6. You'll see just south of that property are 2 R3s. So it makes sense for that zone to be an R3. But I fully support this because of the data that has been given. In Calgary, just recently, when they had their emergency housing strategy, they came out of that and thought they were doing a wonderful service for the community of Calgary of over 1 million people to provide 100 units. Can you imagine? The city of Calgary gave themselves a pat on the back because they were increasing by 100 units. I think we have a great opportunity. We have an interested developer. We have land that's available. We were challenged in our last election campaign to look at what can we provide the community by way of infill. This does not add great expenses to the town. As we've talked about already, this is a look at to simply rezone. All of the concerns that you've had, we've heard them. Our planning team, I'm sure, has heard them, and we will definitely review them to make certain that your concerns are actually not just heard, but actioned upon at the development permit planning stage. So I believe it's time for us to be looking forward as a community and not so much reactive. And I think this is a proactive stance for us to remove the R3 and switch this to or remove the R1, pardon me, and switch this to an R3. So I am supporting this motion.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Thompson.
Thanks thank Councillor Gordon. I also support this motion. I also support our strategic plan, providing that diverse housing and, I think we have to look at the community as a whole. To support our youth and to support some of our seniors. And this kind of housing will do both. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Thompson. Councillor Holiday.
I'm actually a little bit more conflicted, because I'm 100% in favor of this kind of development. I want to be clear on that. And I'm really impressed with the family history and the desire to build something similar to the Main Street property. My concern is that we have residents that bought with that being zoned R1. And that's what they expected when they changed their properties. And it is a big impact on those residents. I mean, obviously going from an empty field to something is going to be a dramatic change, but if you're expecting single family housing, we are asking them to make some sacrifices by going forward with this. I 100% want this kind of housing, and I know that it's limited, and I know our planning documents are out of date, and I'm sorry, I did check our website. It is very clear that our land use bylaws are different, so I'm happy with that, but our MDP is old. Our land use bylaws do need to be integrated, but they're very expensive documents, just for everyone sitting here. We're looking at probably close to $500,000 to do those two together. So that's, $900 for every man, woman, and child in this town, to pay for just two documents that we, so there's reasons why they've been left to get out of date, which is unfortunate. So we are stuck with the R1 zoning. And that is the expectation of those people that bought and looked at those maps. So I want to be mindful. I want to bring it up for fellow councillors. That, yeah, I love the development. I love the idea. I would be happy just to do 2 readings tonight. I would like to, I don't know, maybe everybody else is fully in support and you want to go on, but we heard a lot tonight, so I'd be happy just to do two readings tonight and think about it.
Okay, thank you for those.
It's already been given 1 reading.
Deputy Mayor, thoughts?
Yeah, I sit on the Westlands board, and affordable housing is affordable. I should also say attainable, because affordable means different things to different people. I too, a long time ago in Black Diamond, dealt with a big development proposed behind my place in Riverwood, and fought against that. But I knew when I bought that property that there was a possibility that there was going to be a large scale development built behind my house. And unfortunately for the adjacent landowners, they didn't have that opportunity when they bought their house. So I kind of sit along the same lines as Councillor Holiday, where I'd like to just give it the 2nd reading tonight and think about it and hear from residents a little bit more. I am in favor of this kind of development, and would love to see more of these proposals come forward. And that's all I'm going to say tonight.
Okay, excellent. I'll throw in my weight on this one as well, since everyone else has. I would say I definitely hear you guys as well. It's a lot to ask for a small area. But when we look at, and I've been sitting up here for 10 years, and I've turned down developments that in hindsight was absolutely imperative at that time, that we should have went forward and we didn't. And I really have a problem now not seeking out and encouraging good, solid developers with a proven track record of fantastic community-based housing infrastructure, and not supporting that, to me is something that I can't do. This is for the community at large. This is for the community of the future. I think that the development stage is where all the questions, as Councillor Gordon put it so eloquently, all those concerns can be addressed and actioned upon. So I'm for this development. I'm totally fine with doing a 2nd reading and hearing some more and seeing if anything gets shaken out of the branches, but I'm quite fine to motion this forward tonight on the second reading, and we can bring it back for a third and final after some more vetting and more concerns are vetted. So, yeah, that's it. Councillor Weber, ready to vote?
Yeah.
Alrighty, we have a motion by Councillor Gordon. Any further debate?
Just one more.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Just on that note, I think that the extra few weeks is appropriate, given that residents didn't necessarily find out about this as timely as potentially they should have, and I don't think that, I think that we need to take some ownership in that, and I think a couple more weeks to give people an opportunity to come forward is important.
Well said. And with that said, all in favor? And that's carried unanimously. Thank you. Thank you, Carrie. Moving on, next on the agenda, we have 7.4 bylaw 2023-34 to amend the property responsibility law bylaw 2023-23. And Verna, is this the one that you were saying you had to bring back for a little fine tuning just because you missed one like period and it died? Pretty much.
Didn't cross the T.
You didn't cross the T, yeah, okay. So we can get straight to, you have it in your package. Go ahead, Councillor Deputy Mayor.
The council give bylaw 2023-34 to amend property responsibility bylaw first reading.
Excellent, thank you. And Ms. Staples, I would ask that you just clarify that small little area that you were looking through, because I don't have it in a red line version. But if you could just verbalize it, that'd be fine too.
Is. It's kind of a bit of a challenge here. Sorry, I'll be right with you. So the main concern of this bylaw, the main reason why it's back in front of you so quickly is the amendment under section 2.8 of this bylaw, amending section 2.5 of the original bylaw. We had a rescinding statement in there that can't be made because you have to have a public hearing to make that statement.
Yeah.
And so the correct way of rescinding that bylaw, Ms. Florzone presented you with that bylaw. It's been given first reading tonight, so that will happen correctly, and we've just rescinded that out of here. And while we were in there, we fixed a few housekeeping issues. All of the statements in here that have been corrected have been typos or grammar or spelling, with the exception of Appendix A. We had some renumbering to do. And section 2.7, 2.6 and 2.7. In 2.6, we actually changed the name of the header. It used to just say general prohibition, which did not help the public find the section on RVs really quickly. So we retitled that. But the body of that section did not change except for 17.7. We had to clarify, there was an original statement in there that was just really unclear about decisions made by the MPC. And so we've made it very clear that if a decision has already been made by a development authority, this bylaw won't supersede that. So grandfathers in your preordained approvals.
Excellent. Any questions for Councilor Gordon?
Yeah, sorry, I'm just a little bit confused with our cadence here. So we're focusing on bylaw 2023-34 to amend the property responsibility bylaw 2023-23.
Mhm.
Yet a couple of pages earlier in the agenda package, there's a reference made to having to have the public hearing to rescind that. I'm a little bit out of cadence here. Which one are we on? Sorry.
So that one, you've already given it first reading and direction to administration to set that public hearing. That was the one that Ms. Florzone just presented here, 7.1 did that. But this statement was incorrectly made when we presented bylaw, so many bylaw numbers tonight. 2023-23 to you a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah.
It had an incorrect rescinding statement. It tried to rescind a land use bylaw, which you have to go through the whole process in order to do. So we've taken that statement out of this bylaw now and correctly allowed the planning department to rescind the RV sections of the land use bylaw appropriately.
Excellent. We're looking for all readings tonight, is that correct?
I'm good if you're
That's
good.
correct. Councilor Burton, I'll start with you.
I gave him the vote.
He's got.
He did, all right. Excellent.
I was ready.
He, all in favor?
Sir. Excellent. Good question. About the public hearing. So.
Yeah, so it's good catch.
That won't go over.
Because like a couple pages before, it says land, if I may through the chair,
Sure.
it says land use bylaw 2021-06, amending bylaw.
Mhm.
And then the proposed option that we are given here that I haven't heard us say is that council give first reading of bylaw 2023-32 and direct administration to set a public hearing for a later date.
And we did.
34.
Not 32.
But this is 32. That's my point. If you go back to a couple agenda items earlier, a couple pages earlier, Brendan, you'll see what I'm referencing. In our package, it's page 45 of 107.
Okay.
I don't believe we've done that.
I'm sorry.
Or am I out of cadence here?
I think you're out of it.
I'm not sure. I don't have those numbers in front of me. Can you tell me which
So-
bylaw you're looking at?
Yeah, it's the title is on the RFP is land use bylaw 2021-06,
Mhm.
amending the bylaw 2023-32.
No, we did that. That was 7.1.
I'll pop that open for you on the screen.
If I,
If I may, sure, through the mayor. So that one you're referring to, Council Warden, was the general housekeeping we just finished. Two items ago that Ms. Florazone presented on red tape reduction and the negating the need for the municipality to get a development permit before they proceed for work.
but if I'm correct, the numbers in the bylaws are 2023-29 and 2023-30,
Yes.
where this refers to 2023-32.
That's correct.
So I'm a little bit confused. Think
Right.
like Carrie may help me here. Sorry, I'm stuck on this.
No,
Sorry.
no, Carrie, go ahead.
So item 7.1 was first reading of bylaw, I'm just gonna shorten it, 32. Bylaw 32 removes RV stuff
Got it.
from the Black Diamond land use
Good.
bylaw. Because it is now in bylaw 23. Bylaw 23, there was a whoops, they tried to rescind it without a public hearing. We're now dealing with that.
Okay. You got it. I'm good. Thanks for clarifying.
Yeah. So we'll get that. Okay, I like that chess move. That was good, right? Boom, 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 done, right? Nice. Got it in check and then checkmate and you're good. Okay, can I get a motion for a second reading, please?
Do that.
Heather gets me. All in favor?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm gonna have you read this one out, Councilor Gordon.
Yeah, number 3 here, the council agreed to present bylaw 2023-34 for third reading at this meeting.
Has to be unanimous. All in favor? Excellent, thank you. And Councilor Holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah, the council give bylaw 2023-34, third and final reading. And all in favor?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Moving on. Love having deputy mayor next to me. He gives me all my little speaking. Right here. Just ding, 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 ding. Okay, bylaw 2023-33 designated officers bylaw. We gave first reading, well, we're gonna on November 1st.
I do that.
All right, thank you.
Council give bylaw 2023-33, the designated officers bylaw, its first reading.
Okay, thank you. And is there any questions, council, that we have for administration on this particular item? Sir, this is pretty straightforward. More red tape reduction, I believe, would be the appropriate term. Thank you for putting it up there. Here we have our listed individuals. Doug Jensen, Ben Chana, Carrie Florazone, Brent Staples, Matt Hogan, Simon Bordley, Trevor Bowman. All right. So options 1 through 4, we have the first reading presented by Councilor Gordon. Any questions? All in favor? I will give the second one to council, give bylaw 2023-33 second reading. Any concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? I would have this one read out, please. You want to give it?
The council agreed to consider bylaw 2023-33 for third reading at this meeting.
Thank you, and that has to be unanimous, all in favor? And it is carried unanimously, thank you, and Councillor Deputy Mayor.
The council give bylaw 2023-33 third and final reading.
Perfect, Councillor Gordon?
Oh, sorry.
Now you're ready, he's favored, all right. Any concerns? All in favor? And then it's carried, thank you. Heather?
Council appoint the following as designated officers for the town of Diamond Valley and rescind all prior appointments. Municipal assessor Doug Jensen, finance manager Ben Chanel, planning and development manager Carrie Corazon, legislative services manager Berta Staples, community peace officers Matt Hogan, Simon Bordley, and Trevor Bowman.
Excellent, any questions? All in favor? And that is carried. Bernie, you keeping up with us? We're pretty
You're doing fine.
good here. We're hitting the ground running here. All right, 8.1, Deputy Mayor, I'm gonna hand that proclamation off to you, Family Violence Prevention Month.
Okay, let me find it. Yeah, we'll take a read,
Yeah, we can take 5 minutes.
yeah, let's do that.
All right, we're gonna take 5 minutes. 8:36, we are going to come back into session. I'll give you a few seconds to turn the camera on there. if you'd like.
Go ahead.
We're good, excellent. All right, we have family violence prevention. If you can insert your name.
I'll read on behalf of Mayor Crane, or we make motions? Yeah.
Or you proclaim something.
I make a motion that we proclaim Family Violence Prevention Month, November 1st to November 30th, 2023. All in favor? Aye. Deputy Mayor, if you would.
Family Violence Prevention Month, November 1st to 30th, 2023. Whereas there are many people in Alberta who experience the impact of family violence and abuse, and whereas the impact may be carried on from generation to generation, and whereas all Albertans have a role to play in preventing family violence and abuse. Resolved that I, Deputy Mayor Brendan Kelly of Diamond Valley, Alberta, do hereby designate the month of November 2023 as Family Violence Prevention Month. I call upon citizens to speak out against family violence and abuse. I call upon you to make a difference by creating a culture of support for those impacted by family violence and abuse. And I call upon you to encourage all Albertans to make our province violence-free in 2023 and beyond. In witness thereof, I have hereunto set my hand, done at the town of Diamond Valley, Alberta, this 1st of November, 2023.
Thank you, sir. You're welcome. All right, moving on. We have our municipal communications workshop. Vernon, would you like to, or Todd, would you like to speak to this?
Sure, yeah, Mayor Crane to council. Very straightforward. We understand that council is interested in having a contractor come in and do a workshop for you folks on communications. There's no money in the budget designated for this, and because this is what I would consider a discretionary item, not a non-discretionary item, we're coming back to council looking to move money across from reserves for this matter. The cost will be approximately $3,600, as you can see there for that portion. But while we are at it, we have had some recent communications with this contractor, and he has reduced his price on the other aspect of his services around the public open house that he had offered to host for the utilities. So at this time, if we may make a change to this, we're asking for a total of $7,100 to be moved over to cover the cost of that contractor for those two purposes.
Thank you very much, sir. Heather?
I was just gonna say that that was more of a priority for me versus the workshop is being able to assist our staff with the utility, public or open house, town hall, whatever you wanna call it.
This is the double whammy.
Yeah.
This gets us both.
Well, I think that the town hall for the utilities is what we should vote on today. And the communication can be done in 2024, really.
That would be this year's budget, not next year, right?
For
For
the
the,
for the municipal communications workshop for next year. But I'd like to see the town hall go forward to assist staff with that, because I don't think that that's fair for them to do that on their own. And I feel very strongly we need that town hall. We need to hear the people.
what's the dollar?
Just get some clarity.
Yeah, I'm gonna ask for clarity. I feel like you're talking in opposite. One's gonna come before the other when it should go the other way.
No.
No.
So, Todd, what did you hear?
So our understanding is there is two requirements from this fellow. The first is to support us with the town hall. And I do have a follow-up question on what council's intent was on that. And the second was to provide a workshop to council around communications, managing communication, what their roles and responsibilities are.
Gotcha.
And we had heard that it was potentially both to be held in, well, of course, the town hall, but the workshop held in both in 2023. There's no urgency on administration's part to have the workshop. If it gets pushed to 2024, that's neither here nor there for us.
Yeah, okay, I'm picking up what you're laying down perfectly. Now I'll take your question regarding the open house.
Sure.
Format.
So in conversations with the communications team with Diamond Valley and the management team, we just wanted to get a little bit of clarity on what council's intent was around having a contractor help us with the town hall. We think we know, and we appreciate the benevolence in the fact that you're looking to help us manage that, manage the messaging, take the shots if that's what it requires, et cetera. But in a sense, it doesn't alleviate much work from council. It's just because we're gonna have to prop this individual up anyways, and they won't have possibly all the answers that are necessary for a public engagement piece like that. So we just wanted to find out if we're reading too much into it or what council's intentions were around that piece.
Excellent, Heather.
It was specifically for someone else other than our administration to take the shots. That was what he's very good at, and he should be able to work with our admin staff to be able to answer most of the questions and to be able to have the public have a voice, be it okay with it or be it angry with it. I think it's important to have that town hall.
Go ahead, Director Mayor.
Yeah, just so that council is complete or administration understands, I think it's important that we create some sort of motion for direction here. Like what's the expectation, a clear expectation? So that our CAO can go back to administration, and say, this is exactly why this gentleman's coming in.
I'd like to ask one question. Is the price reduction on the town hall?
Yes, if I could, yeah.
Yeah, so I would put that motion forward. What was the?
7,100.
No, that's the workshop.
But just do it all now, and then they can do the math after.
Yeah, the revised price on support to the town hall is $3,500.
That'd be a separate motion. It needs to be clear. And if I may.
Yes, please. Yep, go ahead.
Just to be absolutely clear, we need to be clear in the expectation so that our CAO can deliver that to our communications team. There needs to be no conflict between these two. My feeling with it, and I'm not gonna write the motion, but I'm thinking we should highlight a lead communicator here. Someone who take the lead in this communication piece and take the responsibility for it. And I love the idea as it was first proposed from what I understand by councillors Martin and Thompson, was that there would be, due to the nature of the message being delivered, the proposal was that we would have a lead communicator external because of the potentiality of conflict. And they have an ability with their conflict resolution to provide support to the administration so that the message is clear and concise and delivered coherently.
That's clear. I don't think we need any separate direction, Deputy Mayor. Loud and clear. That's good. We will need an amendment. We will need a motion to move the money across. Like,
Yeah, I'll take that motion. Heather?
Yeah, so I would, give you the motion to. How you wanna word it?
By $3,500
That,
or
council agrees to, moving $3,500 to initiate the town hall regarding the utility, the new utility billing, coming forward. Something like that.
Good. After the vote, I have a subsequent question for you.
All right, everyone clear? All in favor? That's carried. All opposed? Yeah, there you go. Good job, Cindy. I love how she gave me like the fish eye, like, hey. Call my question. That's good.
I can, yeah, I should have
No, you're good.
made my comment before. I'm sorry, I was trying to find something in my computer.
That's all good.
That's great.
Follow up. We're gonna have each other in a second.
Second part to that is, I believe time is of the essence here. To get through not only the utility portion of this, but then the implications on the budget and all of those. I was just having a conversation with Councillor Holiday. My intent is to get this thing approved before Christmas. I believe we lose some sense of urgency if we move to an interim budget. And I'd like to have this, and I think we're close. I know you all have a lot of questions, so we'll get to that portion of it. So with time being of the essence, I just wanted you to know that we're going to launch on our public information campaign at the end of this week. All right. Newsletter, and actually I could probably just, well, communications team isn't here, but suffice it to say that we're going to launch with that. But the additional piece to that is the town hall. And so if we want to have all this coincide, we need to get that town hall moving and planned as quickly as possible. We can probably make that happen within a couple of weeks, give notice and all of that. But we wanted to check with council on for a proposed date that we should have this, knowing some of you are here and some of you aren't. All right, so our goal would be to have this town hall before the next council meeting.
Yeah, so just going down the line here, I'll be in Newfoundland, Labrador from November 6th to November 20th. Councillor Holiday is going to be gone from the 4th till the 17th. I want to say.
I'm not here next council meeting.
Okay, so that's 3 MIAs for the next council meeting. So you got 4, which is still quorum.
Yeah, something like
We
this.
don't need, we don't need it, we need to know who will be here for the town hall, not the council meeting.
Yeah, that's,
We don't all need to be here for the town hall unless that's,
Yeah.
you don't.
so town hall, I mean,
I can take some majority of it. I'll be at that town hall.
Yeah.
yeah, I'd like to be. at-
I mean, is what you're proposing?
Well, I would like to have this okay, so despite my desire to have it before the next council meeting, the contractor's first available date is November the 16th, November the 20th, or 21, 27, 28.
Okay.
21.
Anything after the week of the 13th? Not here.
The 21st is a MPC meeting that night. The 27th is clear as a bell, and I would say everybody's calendar is clear as a bell on the 27th. That's like,
See what I,
it's a Monday.
Mondays are not.
27th seems to be the best
Yeah.
option for council.
for now.
Preferred option.
I think the preferred option. I think we all need to be there. And if we can get a good couple of hundred people out, then we can spread out and people can have their merry-go-round. So,
I'll try to take my mom's.
yeah, I think 27th.
27th.
Yeah, let's go with that.
All right. Can I have a resolution to that effect?
Yeah.
I'll make that motion. And we,
Can I just,
I'm sorry.
nice,
Sure.
and the intent of this is to, take, like I said already, I lost my train of thought. I am so sorry.
Senior moment.
My brain is.
No.
Hey,
We'll come back.
hey,
We'll come back. What's important is you love this idea. So let's go on that basis. I'll take that motion.
And a really quick, simple resolution that council directs administration to set November 27th in the evening as the town hall public engagement for our utility rate fund cost recovery discussion. Town hall, I did say that.
Yep.
Town hall for a utility rate discussion.
Perfect. All in favor?
Did you get that, Vernon?
Okay, excellent. So that's our communication update done. We can move on to CAO and staff reports. 9.1 utility rate review staff report. Whew, that's not a, that's a tongue twister. It's a good, kind of a rough one. Mr. Sharp.
Sure. Thanks, Mayor Crane. Before I start, I do want to pass on all the appreciation to the finance staff for all the work they've done. Trying to pull this together at the same time as the budget and all of that. But specifically, I thought they did a pretty good job listening at the last meeting around the questions that you were asking. And so we feel like there were basically three broad questions. One was around the impact of the rate change on the proposed 2024 budget. The second question questions were around the impact on residential customers, whether it be a one-time rate change or a phased in rate change. And then the third one was the impact on the town's largest users, ergo institutional and commercial. So in this report, you see that information there. I'm just going to touch the wave tops. And if you have any questions, please, I'll try to answer them, but likely defer to Lisa. Okay. So the first paragraph below, so we had presented a 3-year full cost recovery plan for utility rates. The implications on the 2023 budget as we subsidize utilities with tax dollars are below. Water was about $112,000 and wastewater was $330,000. If we phase as part of the 2024 to 26 plan, the 3-year phased-in plan, there would be no tax subsidy to those utilities. The utility would stand on its own 2 feet, either through consumptive charges or through a transfer from fixed rates to subsidize those consumption rates. Okay.
I was gonna let him finish first and then we'll move to questions, but
I might forget.
I was just gonna say, if you're gonna forget it, you jump out right now. Councilor Gordon's in the queue, but you fire away.
And that part is really important to have available at that town hall. So those kind of things need to be explained to the residents why we're going to full cost recovery. So that's $460,000 that isn't coming off, that isn't being deferred from taxes. So that's one of the things that we really wanted to make clear when we do the town hall, because that's something that people don't understand.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, second comment on that. So the amounts that we're proposing, and they're arbitrary but not arbitrary, that we're proposing over that 3-year phase in would be to transfer from fixed fees to subsidize the consumption rate would be $200,000 in 2025, 150 in 200,000 in 24, 150 in 25, and 100 in 26. So you can see as we pull on one lever, it relaxes the other. And so at the end of those 3 years, after an annual review of full cost, by the end of the 3 years, we would be at a full cost consumptive rate and all fixed fees would be going into reserves. The next 2 pages, I suppose, or 3 pages are simply charts showing you the answers around what the rates would be, things like the largest commercial and institutional users, and ultimately the effect on residential users, depending on which side of the river that you live. Right. And I think in the last meeting, we covered the impact to residential users quite well. It's going to be about $40 a month, depending on where you live. So at this point, I'll turn it back over to council. Did we answer those questions that you had? Do you have any subsequent questions?
Excellent, thank you. Councilor Gordon first.
Yeah, thank you so much, through the chair, if I may, and through our CAO. Lisa, you've done a great work on this and answering our questions so clearly. I really appreciate that. One of the things you're probably getting used to our council is we like a lot of information. And I know our CEO Sharp coming back is aware of that. He's probably advised his his staff now that this council asks a lot of questions, right? So one thing I do have a question is with the subsidization that we have about 445, almost 445,000, we had to actually transfer some from capital this year. How much was transferred from capital this year? Do you have that number?
I do have it. Can you just give me one?
I figured you would.
Just give me a second. I want to make sure I answer it correctly. Okay, for water, there was just over 190,000 transferred from reserves into revenue. And there's going to be, the plan was for 116 transferred back to reserves.
The last time was 73,000,
Yeah.
give or take. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Councilor Clark.
So I know communications aren't, the team isn't here, but if you could relay this question. Are there plans to include in the communication with the public and at the workshop or open house, town hall, town hall? Discussion about the two mill rates that we merged might come up.
Good point.
Black Diamond took a pretty big hit. Now Turner Valley is taking a fairly large hit on the utility. Maybe someone who's very astute out there in the public will notice this. So I just wanted to prepare the team. Perhaps this might come up and we didn't answer.
Excellent. Thank you for that. Councilor Haldy.
I don't know where to say this, but I'll say it now. I think it's too big of a hit in 1 year. Just, I don't know if we're discussing this now or everyone's full steam ahead on this. The hit that Black Diamond had is way smaller than this one is going to be. And Black Diamond is getting hit again with this for a second year in a row. I think it's too, I was under the misguided idea that this was over 3 years. And so last meeting, you all saw my freak out when I realized it was all in 1 year. It's too big of an increase in 1 year. I don't agree with it. I think it needs to be split over two at least. Yes, I know we want to put money into reserves. We keep talking about that. But since we've been on council, we keep increasing utility rates, put money in reserves, and somehow it doesn't happen. But I like to be this heavy-handed with amalgamation so fresh. I think is, and I'm not just saying this because I want to run for council again and get reelected and I don't want to tick everybody off, but really, I don't think it does the community any good if nobody reelects any of us and we're all replaced because everyone's mad at us for doing something like this, right? Like, I don't actually think that's in the best interest of the community to tick everybody off. By doing this in such a heavy-handed way. I know that we have major projects, and I wish that this was done in more of a communication of, yeah, we've got a $750,000 water line, we've got a bunch of sewer and water pipes and Black Diamond that need to be upgraded, and, you know, Frontenac, I would like it to be framed more around that these are things that we're future planning for, that we need to start saving up now for. But just, you guys remember what it was to get up to your rates right now, your utility rates on the Black Diamond side. It was a huge thing. And this is way bigger. Right? And completely unexpected. And I don't have much faith in open houses and people attending and understanding. what's going on. Because I've sat through like a whole bunch of presentations and I'm a counselor and I didn't even understand it. So that's my holdup. I did have, you know, numbers. Do you have how many people are in that 20 cubic meter, 25, 50? Like what percentage of people fall? Like what people, I don't have a water bill, so I don't know what a normal household uses. What is it?
Do you have that data? Can you give me a few minutes to pull it up on a
How many
different
people
spreadsheet?
each?
Yes.
We'll do down the table here while she's getting that in.
Okay.
Councillor Clark.
So, yeah, you said you wanted to get reelected. Well, we all got reelected and we pulled amalgamation. So that was bigger than a utility increase. The hit Black Diamond took on property taxes was huge. It was immense. I cannot overstate this.
It was $375,000. We're on the Black Diamond side. We're talking at like $1 million here.
It's already in there.
No, they're not reducing our taxes. People are not getting a smaller tax bill.
Well,
So you can tell them all you want that it's coming out of their tax bill. We haven't balanced that budget yet and they're not going to see it. So they're not gonna understand it. What they're gonna see is their bills. They're not gonna understand that it's coming out of their tax bill. So it is a way bigger hit.
Councillor Gordon.
And this is probably a little bit preemptive because we're not in budget deliberations. But I do want to remind council that less than 7 months ago, when we approved our budget, we approved a forecast budget of 14.1 million. That included $500,000 for policing. So if we do some quick math, we reduced the 14.1 by 500 grand. That's 13.6 forecasted less than 7 months ago. And we take away the 445,000 that was subsidized in our current budget for our utilities. We're down at 13.155 million. Yet in hand, the proposed budget, if we remove the utility component, we're a little over 14.1, close to $1 million increase in less than 7 months' time. I have major issues with that. I'm not gonna lie. We leveled up everything, and the majority of that budget increase is nearly $800,000 for salary, wages, and benefits. So I think we have a great opportunity as council to hold firm on what was forecasted 8 months ago, give clear direction that this is the amount that you're going to need to work with and work forward. And so that our residents are not overtaxed, or not overtaxed is the correct word, but they're not overburdened. And it lays a great foundation for the future because we now have the utility rate reserves so that infrastructure can be done. But I agree, now's not the time to be burdening our tax people by adding almost $1 million from what was forecasted less than 7 months ago. As I said, that might be preemptive. It's not in our budget deliberations, but we need to be serious about taking a realistic look at what's been requested, because that's a massive change. And I'll leave it at that for now because we're not in deliberations for our budget.
I was just gonna say, are we going to the budget right now? Mr. Sharp.
At the risk of taking the bait here. I don't think it's fair to talk about it in those terms. I get it. I wasn't here when those budget deals, so I don't pretend to know. But what I can tell you is it's been a sea of change, as you know. We've been living it. And we're doing our best as administration to figure out what that new budget needs to look like. Right? Is it simply Black Diamond time plus Turner Valley equals 1 and we move on? Not likely. There was increases and decreases along the way. I know there was a lot of slippage that will have, by the end of the year, will have happened because of the chaos and all of the extra work that was done. So if there was a project on the public works side that didn't get done this year, doesn't mean it's not going to get done or wasn't a priority next year. And so it's really difficult to be too cute with that budget. Now, having said that, I've directed administration to tell me what sorry, I sound like a counselor. I've asked administration to give me a projection to the end of the year and have that ready for our budget conversations. Again, the closer we get to the end of the December, the better that projection looks as opposed to the end of October. But it'll give you an idea of if we were underspent and we have a surplus, why that might be and whether the budget was too rich, it was not enough, where the 800,000 is adding up for the. So I felt obliged to respond to that because you know, they're doing their best to nail it down for you, but to pick an arbitrary number and say work within that will involve many, many weeks of you guys deciding service levels and where you want us to cut. And we've been through that. I've been through that before with you folks a few years ago, and we can do it. But getting back to the utilities, this is for you to decide. We'll do whatever you tell us to do. If you want it in 1 year, we'll do it in 1 year. If you want it spread over 3, we'll do it in 3. But with all due respect, I think you've gotten almost as much information as you need to make a decision. We just need you to make a decision, and we'll put our heels together and we'll get it done.
Excellent, thank you. Lisa, I'm gonna go down to you now, CO Sharp. I see she's got her information ready, so we'll take that, please.
Okay, if we're just looking at the percentages within the residential properties, not including commercial, 71% of our residents are in the 0 to 23 cubic meters. Because I had it broke down based on Turner Valley's.
That's a lot.
Sorry, what's that? I'm sorry.
That's per cycle, correct?
That's for the year, like broke down total. So each billing, like it's an average for the year.
Yeah.
It's 71%. That 23.1 to 46 is 17%. And the 46.1 and greater is 6%.
That would be businesses, I'm assuming.
So this was just residential. If
What was that last one?
6. And I know it doesn't add up, but there's some multi-residential in there too. You're like, what? Math is really bad.
Like the trailer court.
Yes, so I break those guys out because you're multi-residential, we cannot. It's not fair to put them into those categories. They're obviously going to be greater than 46, but they're servicing multiple units.
Thank you. Councillor Hall-Day, did that clarify for you? Okay, so I do appreciate CO Sharp, your candor on this. We've got the information. We need to make a decision on what way we want to go forward. At this time, I am going to weigh in. Looking at the simple annual chart, residential users. BD would stand to look at $250 hit again this year, and then subsequent $50 hits. EV would look at a $600 hit plus $60 hits in years to follow. So those are huge hits, so I will say. Diamond Valley West for 50 plus meters is even bigger. It's $1,000 hit in the first year, and then 100 and 120 after. So that's only 6%. No, $1,000 on top of 18.
Yeah, it's only 6% of the population.
Yeah, and then Black Diamond is 800, and you know, so on. My thing is, I'm going to echo somewhat along the lines of Councillor Hall-Day. Is there's years and years and years we've been subsidizing this service. Groceries are through the roof. Every bill on the planet is through the roof, and everyone looks at municipal government as the savior of why do I have to spend all this money on X, Y, and Z, as if we have some influence on it. And we don't. We only have influence on our small package. So as much as a phone costs $800 and people will burn $800 on a new phone 3 times a year, they will cry foul for their water bill going up. And that's just the way it is. I would be fine to see this as I originally understood it, to be divided by 3. So if there is a $700 increase divide it by 3, implement it over 3 years. That's how we message to the public, here's where we're gonna be in 3 years. And we still subsidize to the accordance that is required, the same way we pulled from reserves in the last decade and a half. And with that being said, when we see any variance in the first or the second year, then we can adjust to that. So if the second year, there needs to be a small adjustment again, we can do it. And then on the third year, if we find out, wow, we're still $100 short, well, that's just gonna be bad news, but it's not, we hit you with 600. Oh, you know what? We found a variance. There's another 250 instead of 50. And we found another, I want to make sure that we're not lining up for bad story, bad story, bad story. If we can have, this just needs to happen, but we have a plan. Our plan is to pull off the Band-Aid. I don't think that's a good plan. I just think we need to be cognizant of the dollars that households have, and that is not a lot. So that's my thought on it. I heard Cindy think the same way. Heather hasn't weighed in, or Brendan. Gordon kinda is there, not really, I'm not sure. But I open the floor. We definitely need to set direction for administration tonight.
Need to make this.
Exactly. So let's have the debate. Let's everyone have a chat and let's make a decision, and council will do what council got to do. Cindy and then Heather.
I'm actually okay with 2 years. To me, it's very simple messaging to say that we are bringing Turner Valley up to Black Diamond rates. That's an easy message. And then it's also probably fairly easy to say we're adding Storm, because that's something that hasn't been done on the Black Diamond side. Add that to Black Diamond side. Then you're at about that $1,200 a year for the 0 to the 20 cubic meter person. If going off the chart, the main one you were just referencing, we're at 973 for a 20 cubic meter in Diamond Valley West. Diamond Valley East is 1129. You add $10 a month or whatever it is for Storm, you're gonna be up around the $1,200 range. To me, that's kind of the halfway point, and then the next year you're up again to the 1480 or 1500. Like to me, it's not a complete rip of the Band-Aid, it's the going slow. Which seems to always be worse with kids, but here I think it needs to happen, in my opinion. And then it has to be messaged. Black Diamond got hit on taxes last year. Turner Valley's getting hit, bringing up utilities. This probably should have been done 6 months ago, so it was fair. But then it needs to be messaged around the major cost of these infrastructure projects, and that this money is going away. And then we as a counselor need to know, because we say in the year, last year we said in the paper, oh, we're gonna put $700,000 away in reserves this year for capital. And then we never see that back, and then we find out later it's not quite there. And it's one part that's really frustrated me on council, is that what we expect and then what happens is always very different. And that's why I hate having it get buried. What gets transferred into reserves. Like, I wish it could just be a totally separate line item and not at all in the budget, really. But whatever, that's a rant. I would like 2 years, and I would like the messaging just to be, we're equalizing it, bringing Diamond Valley West up to Diamond Valley East rates, adding Storm. And then the next year it's going to go up again because of capital projects, and then listing those projects. Like we've got West End. Like, it's huge. The list of like our 10-year capital plan and the things that need to be done are huge. Like, I think that's understandable to the average resident. And I think it gives us a little bit of time to get people used to it. It's a little over 2 years.
Okay, so I'm hearing 2 years out of Cindy, Heather, and then Deputy Mayor.
Yeah, I don't disagree with Cindy over the 2 years. And messaging has to be clear. I just don't like the whole comparison thing anymore, Black Diamond, Turner Valley, but it's kind of, I guess that's what we have to do. Like, So I'd be okay with a 2-year phased in, but after the 2 years, I would hope that we're at full cost recovery and we're starting to put that money fully into our capital. So I just, it's a change for Lisa to go back and do this all over again, especially when we're doing our communications plan next week. I don't know, like, we made a motion to go with the flat rate with no phased in, was it?
No,
Remember what the,
it was, the option with, sorry, it was option 4, but it was one rate, one consumption rate.
Yeah.
Fixed rates based on meter size.
Yeah.
Phased in over three years, which is phasing in, moving the money from that would be going to capital to offset the consumption rate.
It's nothing to do with phasing in for residents and the rates that they're paying.
right, that's where the confusion is, I think.
Yeah.
Like, I thought it was gonna be phased in so that it wasn't such a big hit to residents, and that's, I think, where the confusion has come in. So like, to avoid having to redo all the communications and everything, if it is like an actual 3-year phased in, I'd be fine with that, but to change the whole process that staff has been putting forward, I think. I just don't know. We're going ahead with the communications plan. We want to get it done. And we're asking staff a lot for this right in during budget stuff. So if we could go to the 3-year phased in, so it is not so hard on residents, is that less or more difficult? And I was looking to the CAO because going from 3 down to 2.
Well, I appreciate that, Counselor Thompson, and we have we haven't prepared the printed materials and things like that, but all the numbers, all the work's done, right? Based on a 3-year phase-in plan that we've shown you. So while staff are superhuman, if you're okay with 3 years and you think that's the best decision, certainly it would make less work for administration.
But it has to be 3-year phased in, not what we voted on. Because that's where the confusion was.
So
It's like the first year is one great big hit versus
so
hits over 3 years.
direction we got last meeting was to prepare our public participation or our information plan based on rip off the Band-Aid.
Yeah.
But we've got the numbers for the three-year phased in. So I'm gonna look to Lisa here. If we switch from 1 year to 3-year phased, is there work involved there?
There is, but it's not, it's doable for sure. I mean, I have a lot of background work done. Am I hearing that you're considering wanting to bring the Turner Valley side to the Black Diamond side year 1? I guess what I need clear direction on is how you would like this phased in. So I'm you know what I'm asking for?
We're gonna go Cindy and then we're gonna go deputy mayor. It's divide by.
That 3-year phased in thing, it was it was just accounting. We really have to lose it. We absolutely need to make things fair. And I think the old Turner Valley side needs to be paying what Black Diamond is this year. And if you add in the storm idea, so Black Diamond gets used to it, that brings us to about the halfway point. That's why I liked it. I really like 2 years. 3 is too long. And you're already halfway there if you just bump up the west side to what the east side is paying. And then everyone's paying the same mill rate, everyone's paying the same utility rates. I think it's completely justifiable and easy to communicate. If you're saying the one side is just going to be paying what the other side is this year. I rather than, I think you'll lose people because you lost us on 3 years. And I don't think it's fair to rip off the Band-Aid. It's too huge of an increase, especially when you're looking at franchise fees are going up because electricity rates are going up, or garbage rates are going up. And right now we're looking at tax increase as well. So all combined, those are huge hits, but we do have to make it fair. And then we can drop it. There's no more divisiveness after this. Everybody is paying exactly the same. That's why I like jumping it. Pretty halfway approaches here.
Okay, I've got deputy mayor, I've got Councilor Gordon, I've got Veronica, but I'm gonna jump in. So just so I'm understanding you clear, you're saying Turner Valley takes the hit, comes up to Black Diamond. Now everybody's fair, everyone's on the same mill rate. Now implement your 2 year after that to get everyone to zero.
1 year, she wants to do this 2 years. So this year you would bring it up to the diamond,
Turner Valley takes hit, comes up to
and
Black
then
Diamond.
next year they both go up to full cost recovery.
With the addition of Storm on the east side, so theirs does come up a little bit. The average at the 20 cubic meter, which is what the
Yeah.
majority of people are paying, it's gonna be around $1,200 a year. So
Okay,
that increase.
I can see that you're talking about, is it a lot easier to explain when we're all on the same page to start and then the one increase comes out?
You all do it together.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna go, Deputy Mayor Gordon Clever.
Well, I'd like to put a motion together here, so that unless people. want-
Okay, some more debate. Let's go, Veronica here first.
So the full cost recovery from 235 a cubic meter to 365 a cubic meter for water in 1 year is more palatable. Utility rates, Black Diamond pays 235 per cubic meter.
Whatever Black Diamond is paying, I'm saying Turner Valley needs to pay.
Right, and then the following year, we're all going to full cost recovery, which is $3.65 per cubic meter.
Yeah, whatever the numbers
That's
are.
a big jump.
Well,
Whole thing right now.
Right,
yeah,
but I don't understand the difference.
It gives people an
Black
opportunity,
Diamond did your relief before they start doing
and
it.
we may also see interest rates start going down next year. Like, we don't know where things are gonna be. If we can at least allow residents and offer maybe a 12-month grace period to let things kind of cool off.
So you're just deferring the big fight till next year,
We're doing half of it.
but not, Black Diamond's getting nothing the first year.
That's right. That's because you took it last year.
You took the
For being
mill
nice,
No.
you took the mill rate hit last year.
You're just postponing your fight.
Yes, I'm being nice, but I'm being nice about it. Okay, let's go, Councilor Gordon.
I'm gonna actually, I love the idea of ripping the Band-Aid off. I know it's an opposing view here, but the reason being is this. It has a major caveat. The last 2 quarters, economically, federally, there's been a negative economic gain. We are technically in a recession. And so we're looking at, I know I've got to be very cautious about bringing up the budget numbers, but we're looking at an unrealistic request on our budget. And that's what's going to impact us the most. Just because we are going to be able to remove the subsidization with full cost recovery, and then boom, we jack up that side of the budget. Well, you're taking from Peter to pay Paul. We've got to stop that. We really do. We've got to get our costs under control in this town. We can't have a forecast budget that included $500,000 for municipal policing and $445,000 for subsidization of utility rates. That was less than 7 months ago, presented to this council on the Friday afternoon, what was it, April 19th or 20th? That stated 14.1 million forecast for 2024. I have a hard time accepting that the numbers have changed that dramatically in less than 7 months. So if we're going to really support our town and bring it to a place that we actually have a foundation for sustainability, long-term, we've got to look at what our costs are separate from what our utility rates may happen to be. I fully support full cost recovery. Do we challenge the town now, or do we postpone the argument for 12 months from now? That's really what we're looking at, but let's not forget, we've got to get our costs under control on the other side of the budget.
Thank you. Okay, I'll go Cindy, then Brendan.
The reason the budget went up so much, the reason the budget, sorry, it's my mic. The reason the budget went up so much is because we were putting so much more money away in reserves. And the reason we're putting so much money in the reserves is that we put in the full rip the Band-Aid off amounts in utility rates. That's part of it. The other, okay, and the other part was 800,000 in extra salaries, wages and benefits. Those are your 2 things. And we haven't talked about those. So I just wanted to, this is a lot of extra money in reserves, you're right. We will be making a short-term, not taking it, but we haven't been taking it for the last 20 years. Why jump to it all at once, right?
Off topic from our utility rate. So we need to stay there.
No, it's all.
Finance reports coming.
That's in the budget is the one that we're talking about.
So we need to make a decision on Band-Aid or 2-year or 3-year. That's what we need to decide. Everybody's had great points. Now we're spinning wheels. We could easily go into the budget debate for sure. But then that's gonna drag on. So let's make a decision on this one. Let's get a motion on the floor and that will tell all. And if it fails, then we will have another motion. And one of them is gonna pass. So. Deputy Mayor.
I'll take a shot. So I'd like to make a motion where we do the 2-year phased in on the billing cycle, but the 3-year on the accounting side. Does that make sense? No?
No.
Yeah.
That was a good shot. Good shot. Let's try.
So what you propose to us, Lisa, over 3 years is just how we're moving the money around from reserves and how it's offsetting how much we're bringing in.
Yes, so you would be putting less money in reserves to lower the consumption rate slightly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So instead of ripping the Band-Aid off in 1 year and doing this, if we did it over 2, your numbers would need to change a little bit from the reserve side, would they not?
Yes, they would.
Okay, so that's kind of the motion I'm trying to make is
Okay.
if we did it over the 2 years.
What do you saying?
Yeah.
Is that-
And then
together.
And then everybody together next year. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
So you're saying you'd bring everybody to the same level, adding storm, correct? And then we would I would figure out for you what's left, and that would be your year 2. Is that what I'm hearing? Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Here. That's fairly close to a bed.
I know it's not the full thing. And while I support the full thing, I mean, I think with the town hall, it gives the speaker an opportunity to really put all this stuff out. And then there's a real good explanation, and then it's not a shock next year when everything goes up. Because everything will go up next year. If that makes sense.
You want to add flavor and then flavor, or
I want to be clear on the
motion? Sure.
the spirit and intent of the motion.
Sure.
The intent here is to bring residents in the former Turner Valley up to the current rates of the former Black Diamond starting in 2024.
Correct.
In 2025, the rates will rise collectively to full cost recovery, whatever that number is. We have a pretty good idea what it'll be, but we'll reassess. So then, in theory, that rate in 2024, and then the rates for the 2 former municipalities in 2024, and the new rate for full cost in 2025 comes to council for information.
Yeah, we don't accept, we need to accept, we can't accept.
We don't need. No, so are you giving us direction to set the rate here is what I'm asking?
Yeah, so they can project, here's your 2025 rates. When we do this open housing,
Yeah.
here's your information.
So we can insert these rates into the 2024 budget.
Mhm.
So you're giving us direction to set the rates
For
for
2024.
2024 tomorrow.
We have to do the bylaw.
I've got flavor first,
One
but
second, Counselor.
No,
this is for clarity. So go ahead, Cindy.
the issue is that we before said we wanted to do the open house before we actually set the rates. For sure. we want to be able, the public to know that it's not a done deal before we listen to them, because that looks terrible. So we're telling you to move forward using these for the budget, but we're not approving them tonight. We just want these to be the numbers, the 2-year plan to be the numbers that go forward for the public open house. So unless somebody else is changing, that was what we had agreed to before, is that we wanted to listen to the public before we absolutely set the rate. So we're not setting the rate tonight, and we did want to add storm. Yeah, we got that. Okay, perfect.
So we know we're coming back, I open up some 27th, first meeting in December,
We'd set it.
And
we would set it. And then it's done for the budget and it's done for New Year, and the public has had a chance to either lose it or accept it, say, here it is, wow, that's crazy. Okay, Clover.
Is storm being added on both sides, Former? So currently Turner Valley utility users do not pay $10.05 in storm.
No, they do.
They do.
They do.
But Black Diamond side utility, so here's something really funny. Very funny.
Okay.
The bulk of users on Turner Valley side, 76% using 20 cubic meters per billing cycle, their bill will go up $11. Black Diamond side, who does not pay storm, their bill will go up $10.05. It is correct.
Okay, but I'm going off the annual cost per year.
Keep in mind, Turner Valley has stabilization fees too, which we have requested to remove.
Yeah, I'm just using the water utility right now because it's just easier, because currently they're both the same, right? Water and sewer on Turner Valley side per cubic meter is the same. And on Black Diamond side, water and sewer per cubic meter usage is the same. 235 on one side and 180 on the other. But the cost of a cubic meter of water or sewer is the same.
No, it is not.
To you, it's not.
No, in Turner Valley, it's $1.80 for a cubic meter of water and $1.80 charged to you for using that cubic meter of water. It is not.
Sewer rate is different than their water rate in Turner Valley.
Okay, what is the difference?
Hang on. It's actually higher than Black Diamonds, I believe, but that might just be for greater than 46 cubic meters, but no, they are not the same. So I have to find it. Hang on.
So you're still paying $11 more in.
And Black
Turner
Diamond is
Valley.
246 a cubic meter.
Okay, so that's a little bit changes my math.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right, it did go up.
Yeah,
2 years ago.
46 for both.
But it's about the same.
It's easier to look at the annual amounts than I wasn't worrying about the actual rates. I just wanted it, Turner Valley brought up to around the $1,200 mark a year for 20 cubic meters. I wasn't getting into
Up to your standard.
That's $200, yeah, going off this.
Yeah.
Every $200.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's $13 per cubic, 20 cubic meters.
Is $60?
Oh, I'm sorry, are you asking me something? I missed.
No, it's a statement of fact.
$200.
Anyway, what's the motion?
Okay.
Let's just do this then. It's just ironic to me that you're bringing them up to pretty much the same amount, $10.
It should be up around.
200.
Yeah, it should be up closer to 200 on the Turner Valley, the old Turner Valley, and we're gonna go up maybe $70.
It's your fixed charges too, right? Keep in mind that,
Oh, you're bringing those up as well?
yes, yes, I miss,
Yeah.
sorry, am I understanding that correctly? Yes, so it's not just consumption. The Turner Valley side's fixed charges were significantly less than the Black Diamond side.
We're making things completely.
Yes. So the motion is the council propose for communications and preliminary budget discussions, aligning the town of Diamond Valley utility rates using the former Black Diamond rates plus the former Turner Valley rate for stormwater in 2024 and proceeding to full cost recovery in 2025. Excellent.
Does that give you?
Good wording. Any further comments? All in favor?
Whose motion is that?
Brendan's. All opposed? Good. Go ahead, Heather.
So we're not confused. Do we need to rescind the one where we went to pulling off the Band-Aid?
That's probably a darn fine idea. Yeah. Okay, give me a second. That was last meeting, wasn't it?
That was just two weeks.
I think it was last meeting. I believe so.
I
I can just pull the minutes up really quickly and grab that.
Well, hold on a second, no, we shouldn't have to, yeah, because that motion clearly said for,
It hasn't set.
exactly, it has a set rate, that's for the discussion at the open house. Now we're gonna set the rate first. One, so at that point, what do we rescind?
Right now.
It's basically the same motion,
Okay, so let's rescind whatever we need to.
please.
Give us a number and we'll do that.
Actually, if we could rescind both of those, that would be really great.
Okay, which one do you want?
Both of them. 23, 10, 18, 16, and 17.
Okay, Councillor Holiday gives us a motion to rescind both 23, 10, 18, 16 and 23, 10, 18, 17. Any discussion on that? Basically, it's just aligning this.
Yeah. It just gets too confusing for staff because we've already gone ahead and directed them to do something. Now we're changing our mind.
No more changing. Okay, all in favor? And that's carried. All opposed? Good. We are carried. All right, financial report. Thanks for all work, Councillor. CAO Sharp.
And just a closing comment on that, we may not be ready to go by the end of this week with the information session on the utilities.
Yep, that's fine. I gotta get a mayor's letter put together anyways. Okay, finance report, I'll go like this. Council, you've got the package. Is there any questions that you would like to ask administration? Hey. That's a good one.
No, sir.
Mr. Sharp, is there anything you would like to point out or highlight?
I would love to add
Excellent.
that tomorrow I'll be sending you a link to a Teams document that has the budget presentation in there. I'm going to allow council to make their questions and comments of administration that we can prepare in advance for the whenever it comes back. So we can make sure we've got all the answers for that budget debate. All right, so the idea is to try to keep that as efficient as possible, and so there'll be a spot right there where you can ask them and we'll get you the answers, but then we will review those in public at the appropriate.
Yep, absolutely. Deputy Mayor.
Seeing as we don't have a special meeting in November, or a committee of the whole meeting.
We do.
No, we don't. No, it's canceled. The 7th, yeah, there's nobody here. We haven't organized one for December, so that was my question is whenever you feel ready for that, if you could let council know and we'll set a special meeting just for the budget, I think that'd be appropriate instead of at a regular meeting.
Just propose one.
I just didn't want to propose one if they weren't prepared. Who would ask CAO?
Yeah, I was actually gonna broach that and find out if we could call special in that last week of November. And see if that works for everybody.
Wednesday, the 20th, as opposed to.
Wednesday is 29th.
Well, we don't have a committee scheduled, so.
But it's a special meeting.
Yeah, good point. So let's do special.
Yeah, do special.
And then
And then we just focus on budget. We'll have lots of time if he sends out the link between now and the end of the month to ask our questions, let administration vet, send it back. We have all those questions in public, answers provided, then we can debate some more. And that gives us the rest of December to finalize the budget. And we'll have a chance then to talk about our open house that we attended on the 27th on how that blends into the budget. So 29th, how are you looking there, Mr. Sharp?
or is that too soon?
No, I think it'd be great. That's like a full month away.
I think we can make that work, but we'll just make sure that you get into that budget document, take a look and provide your comments. We'll talk about some timelines, but we need time to get those answers together. So maybe a 2-week window or something for you to comment, and then we have a chance to look. The 29th, and just looking at Verna, looks like it's fine.
Would you like a motion for that, or,
Well, why don't you make a motion
Yeah.
to set a special for the 29th?
Exactly, then it can be advertised accordingly. I'll make a motion that we hold a special council meeting on November 29th at 6 PM. Good for you guys? 6 is good. 6 o'clock, here in Turner Valley Council Chambers for the purpose of budget deliberations. Period. All in favor? That's carried. And of course, we'll see if we need managers or anything like that.
Well, the questions prepared for them in advance and.
But I'd also at this point then, Todd, just mentioned that we should have a cutoff period like you suggest. Let's say November 15th, for getting the digital questions out from the budget, they're going to present to us digitally. And so I'll just say that for information. Councilor Gordon?
Yeah, earlier in today's meeting, CEO Sharp indicated he's requested of his management team a projection of actuals. Will we have it by that evening? That should be present?
Yes.
Perfect, thank you.
I think we're good. I'll take a, well, we're just gonna move on. Or anything else on the finance report that you'd like to highlight?
I'd
Heather?
like to ask a question, actually.
Absolutely, go ahead.
The reserve and transfer details. Sure. Like, we wanted to see what was in reserve. Not sure that this tells us what's in reserves. So I think that was the ask is where do our reserves stand? And I'm not sure that the reserves and transfer payment details, I'm not understanding.
So our understanding was there was a question of how much we're transferring out and how much we're transferring into reserves. But if you're suggesting that you need to know how much is in each reserve account.
That's what I thought we had
Yeah,
asked
that's
for.
a separate, Hazel, we've had some side conversations and have talked about putting together the Google Doc, or whatever doc. And that was gonna be like the first one, so this answers a different question that, yes, I did have. Two separate topics, so. But yeah, that I have on my list of questions.
We'll make sure that's included in at some point in the budget document, so you know how much you have to play with.
Yeah, let's make sure that's in our digital. And that can help form the questions in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I have it. I have a list of my.
Exactly, so you just fire those off right off the get-go. Okay, excellent. Anything further to highlight on the finance end?
No, we're good.
Okay, moving on, health and safety update, 1.3. Anything special, exciting?
This is really just a summary of the activities we've been undertaking and the core certification that we achieved. Our audit score was 86%, so there's always room for improvement, but we did very well on that. We've achieved our core certification for the next 3 years. That means a number of things, not the least of which is a decrease in premiums and a reflection of the safe work culture that we have. So that is simply a staff report from Doreen, our health and safety consultant. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them for you.
All good by me. 86 is a good score. That's what I got on my first day. So, you know, certain things you can do around me and there's certain things you can't. I can't help you for certain things.
Just keep going, just.
Right? Go ahead. The fall equipment, that was the one failing.
I'd just like to say kudos to the staff for, that's really great to even have gotten that after so soon after amalgamation and bringing everything together for the staff. So I'd like to give kudos to the staff for the 86% mark.
Excellent. Councillor Holiday?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, can we just make a motion to send a congratulatory email to staff on achieving that certification,
Love it.
the mayor,
Sure, I'll do it all staff.
just a quick thing.
What?
Yeah, say that we saw the report and are,
I can do that.
Good.
Okay.
thanks.
Yeah, when I do an all staff, you guys don't get it. Which really isn't all staff.
Counselors, and then it
Yeah,
magically comes.
magically happens. I just thought you'd be in there, right? So anyway, okay, excellent.
Staff.
Staff?
No.
Staff. Hey, man, you're making decisions. Okay, administrative inquiries and responses, we have none.
Vote on the.
Oh, we did that.
Did you get that?
I was just gonna
I got
do
your
it.
motion. I did not get a vote.
Yeah, all in favor? Yeah, okay. Perfect. All right, excellent. Administrative inquiries, none, committee board correspondence. Can I get a motion to adopt all those minutes, please? And Deputy Mayor, you want to comment on West Wind's committee, so please do.
Yeah, just briefly, and if any counselors have, this just comes about, because, Councilor Martin brought up, the reports and stuff, and I just wanted to make myself available if anyone had any questions about West Winds. Berna sent an email off last week, just in regards to the, Diamond Valley Light Parade. I don't know, that's not the right name. The light up
The Christmas light contest.
Christmas lights contest. So that's something that's hosted by the lodge. I would love to continue going on that. I love going up there, and I brought my daughter last year and we had a great time. We don't have it set in the budget, which was part of the discussion, I believe, correct, Verna?
The prizes were
Right.
not.
Okay.
I also had concerns, if I could.
Oh, yeah.
I also had some concerns about the amount of time that would be available. Your square footage has literally doubled.
Mhm.
And I know that was a bit of an evening out for them to get through and choose their winners and such. So I wondered if you wanted to continue it, if it's just simply a social evening out. And who's on.
I spoke to Donna and Michelle at the lodge. I was there a couple of days ago. And they said the residents are up for whatever. If it's a longer drive, they don't care. And I said, I'll ride with you. It's no big deal.
Okay.
So I think we go ahead with it. Maybe we just need to be a little bit more precise in our route. We know that there's a lot of residents. There's a gentleman behind AG Foods. There's a nurse up in Maplewood. A lot of the businesses do a good job. So I think if we can just be a little bit more prepared in our route, and I can work with Michelle and Donna on that, then we could probably make it happen in one night.
Okay, so do you want prizes then?
I would say yes.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, please and thank you.
What would you like? I need to put them back into your budget.
Could we, maybe at the next meeting, could you just bring back what we've done in the past?
Sure.
And then that way we don't have to make a decision now, but I can at least work alongside Michelle and Donna and say that we're gonna go ahead. I think it was like $100 for the business, 50 for residential, something like that. It
We
wasn't,
had 3 each.
yeah,
I think there were 3 prizes each. So
Yeah.
I'll bring that back for you.
okay,
For sure.
wonderful, thank you, Verna.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's pretty much my update on West Winds. The Darcy project in Okotoks, that affordable housing, yeah, is huge and it's been steaming right ahead. Yeah, so that's just kind of it. If anyone ever has any questions and they feel like they're not hearing from me, please let me know. It's one of my favorite, it's a great board. I love being on that board, so.
I do
Yeah.
have a question.
Sure.
Is that still being done in conjunction with Rowan House?
Rowan House, and the other one backed out. They,
Rowan House backed out?
yeah, yeah, both of them. So there's an empty lot currently sitting next to the one that West Winds went ahead. They couldn't afford it, and the grants just aren't coming through. It's a really, and this is part of the conversation I was having with Quentin, is that, you know, these shovel ready projects are the ones that are getting greenlit, and sadly, Edmonton and Calgary are just chewing up big parts of the money. And you know, they just released $15 million that's gonna be approved or handed out in January, I believe, and the Darcy project was close to $15 million, and that's one project. So, and I know that Nanton, there's multiple smaller communities that are trying to get on board with these types of lodges that we have in Old Black Diamond. And the money and resources just are not being provided by the government. So, great question. Okay, so that's it for me.
Yeah, so we make a motion to accept all those. Or I'll make a motion if not, and then. Yes, please.
That we accept, what was that, correspondence? Oh, no, we're not. Okay, I'll leave it alone. Yep. The motion.
We are adjourned. 10:51, 9:51, 9:51.